virtual timing app. Thank you.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk the dog, go cycling, cycle the dog, recycle the dog, just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your 4+ fold ACCA lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
You are listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester United against Chelsea from Old Trafford. I'm your host, Tom Rennie. Alongside me for this one is the former Stoke, Reading and Sheffield United striker Dave Kitson. This is Premier League Live. Manchester United could lose their opening 3 home league matches for only the second time in their history and the first time since 1930. That season, they finished bottom of the First Division. United last lost 3 consecutive league fixtures at Old Trafford in February 1979, and so we expect some sort of response to their poor start here tonight against Chelsea. Away from home, fantastic, of course. They have won the last 10 in a row when not playing here. For Chelsea, they are the only club to have won more Premier League fixtures versus Manchester United than they have lost, but their recent record here is poor, including that 4-0 thumping at the start of last season. They have drawn 4 of their 8 matches in all competitions this campaign, and in midweek they had their first 0-0 under Frank Lampard, their first clean sheet of this Premier League season. Let's get to the team who's starting with Manchester United. David De Gea is in goal. Back 4 left to right of Luke Shaw, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Fred and Scott McTominay in the centre of midfield. Wingers left and right, Dan James and Juan Mata. Bruno Fernandes is supporting Marcus Rashford up front. On the bench, Dean Henderson, Paul Pogba, Edinson Cavani, first time in a Manchester United squad for him. Mason Greenwood, Nemanja Matic, Donny van der Beek and Axel Tuanzebe. No place in the squad today for Alex Telles, who started against Paris Saint-Germain in midweek. For Chelsea, Edouard Mendy is in goal. Back 3 of Kurt Zouma, Thiago Silva and Cesar Azpilicueta. Midfield pairing, N'Golo Kante and Jorginho. Ben Chilwell, left wing back, Reece James on the right. Christian Pulisic, Timo Werner and Kai Havertz are the front 3 left to right. On the bench, Willy Caballero, Antonio Rudiger, Tammy Abraham, Mateo Kovacic, Olivier Giroud, Mason Mount and Hakim Ziyech. No place in the squad today at all for Kepa Arrizabalaga. They say he is injured. We are just about to get underway here. The players have just taken a knee. They are in support, of course, as the Premier League are, of the No Room for Racism campaign. You can see that motif on the sleeves of the shirts of both sets of players, and we are now underway. Manchester United, red shirts, white shorts and black socks. They kick from left to right as we look in this first half. Chelsea the other way, right to left, royal blue shirts, blue shorts and white socks. Their goalkeeper Mendy away to our right, all in lime green. Dave Kitson alongside me for this one. What are we expecting from this first 45?
Well, you would expect United to take the game, actually, considering they've been beaten the last 2 at home in the league and beaten well as well. And you would expect them to have a little go and be buoyant off that result that they got in Paris for the second time. But to be honest, looking at the conditions, I mean, I like a zippy pitch, but this is going to have an effect, even for Manchester. I know it rains every day, but this is going to have an effect on the game for sure.
Yeah, it's got the vibe of a Lowry painting right now in Manchester. It is very, very wet. Big old fat rain does often lead to a chaotic game of football, and wouldn't we just enjoy that? It would certainly suit this Premier League season. Ball back towards Fred, down the sideline from James, has seen the ball go into touch, and it will be a Chelsea throw. Midway inside their own half, out on the right-hand side for them. Interesting that Dan James should be starting this one. He hasn't necessarily been a featured player for this season for Manchester United. Scored 7 minutes into his debut in that victory over Chelsea here at the start of last season. But he has a lot to offer, doesn't he, Dan James? He certainly will provide the pace that a lot of United players don't have up there today.
Yeah, it's that pace going in behind. But like I say, I think Frank has read this. I think he's had a sniff that Dan James is going to play, and he's going to double up. You've got Reece James over there and Azpilicueta behind him. So I do expect them to double up and not afford Dan James any space whatsoever. And Dan James, to be honest, is a big game for him, because he may well be playing in the position that we might expect Cavani to play into, where he played for PSG so many times out on that left wing.
Somewhere that Marcus Rashford has played, somewhere that Anthony Martial has played. He's still suspended, and Mason Greenwood just out of favour at the moment, though he does turn up on time for training, says Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if you believe what the managers say. And I have no reason to doubt him. Chelsea have the ball just inside their own half. Jorginho, slight miscontrol, but he has picked it up on the half turn and chips it forward towards Pulisic. One in the air by Lindelof, ball into no man's land, picked up by Wan-Bissaka. Mata to McTominay behind him, finds a release to Luke Shaw. Shaw on the left hand side edges towards the halfway and finds a ball back towards Harry Maguire, returned to the side today from the Champions League match, of course played in the last Premier League game. Long ball down the left channel towards the runner. James goes into touch.
Yeah, and that's the ball that's not going to work from Harry, playing that kind of a ball, that with that sort of shallowness on it. It needs to be looped up so it stays in, and it just skips straight out of play.
Here's Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the centre circle, gets away from Ben Chilwell, pressing high from left wing back. Must be tough to see for Ben Chilwell right now, with all that rain forcing all that lacquer and Brill cream into his eyes. Couldn't get the ball that time, and Chelsea will defend on the other side now. Reece James gets his body in the way of the ball and the end line and clears away from Dan James for Manchester United. That's going to be a throw to the Red Devils, level with the penalty area on the left hand side, which Shaw will take. Which the runner Bruno Fernandes comes off the thigh of Thiago Silva, long-time teammate of Cavani at Paris Saint-Germain, of course. He will find a forward ball. Chelsea, lovely triangle football. Havertz,
great
Kante.
Football. It's great
crossfield to Chilwell. Chilwell into Pulisic, controls and turns and runs at a worried United defence. In the area, Christian Pulisic, challenged by Aaron Wan-Bissaka, went to ground and managed to clear at the second attempt. Into Fred, who looks to turn away from N'Golo Kante, and he does, and he finds a release out left to Dan James, who's goal side of Reece James, running at Azpilicueta. Reece James gets back. Strong challenge from Reece James to get Chelsea back on the ball.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we expect. When Dan James gets the ball, Azpilicueta just holds his ground. He waits for Reece James to get back at him and try and engage first, and that's exactly what happened. He takes the ball off Dan James quite comfortably in, but wonderful football from Chelsea initially. And when that ball goes into Pulisic, that's what I like about him. He's so direct, he just drives straight into the heart of the United defence, trying to cause them problems, but it was a wonderful move.
Harry Maguire in the right back area, chips forward, turned back towards him by Chelsea's midfield. Maguire will let it run past him and go for a goal kick. 5 minutes gone, it's Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0. Really, really heavy rain for those just joining us in the Manchester and Salford area today. It was quite bad in London earlier for the game between Fulham and Crystal Palace, but that's a game we watched on TV here and certainly seems a lot worse at Old Trafford. Very difficult for the players to see. Probably lucky the fans aren't here today, because they'll be getting soaking wet around Old Trafford, and it has perhaps caused both teams to struggle to settle in the opening exchanges. Ball is chipped from Mendy, the Chelsea goalkeeper, up towards halfway, miscontrolled by Kai Havertz, and that's end to touch for a throw into Manchester United on the halfway line. 6 minutes gone, it is 0-0. At TalkSport Live, by the way, if you want to get in touch with Dave and I doing the commentary at TalkSport Live. I can see plenty of people already doing so. Hello to our friends listening out in Ireland today. Trevor and the gang hosting the show and joining us for commentary. Brilliant work done all day. Of course, 10 hours of live Premier League action for you every Saturday in Ireland at the moment. Great to have you with us at TalkSport Live. Should you want to let us know where in the country you are listening, as the ball is chipped down the left channel here by Manchester United. Chilwell clears by the end line. Aaron Wan-Bissaka level with the penalty area. Back to Scott McTominay, the Scotland international. Infield to Fred, beaten to it by Kai Havertz, but comes off the German's toes and into the feet of Luke Shaw. Forward to Jorginho, who clears for Chelsea, outright to Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes edging forward towards the area, into Mata, challenged by Zouma, right to Wan-Bissaka. Mata picks it up. Mata outside of him to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, into Bruno Fernandes, back to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Scott McTominay around the halfway line. Chelsea forcing United away, but the Red Devils keeping possession. Mata found by Wan-Bissaka, wanted the return ball, didn't come to him. And it's chipped back towards the halfway, and Lindelof, the Swede, looks left for Shaw. Shaw has Havertz for company. He leaves it for Dan James, into Fred. Jorginho chasing him down. Finds Maguire, who runs forward, then runs backwards, held up by Kai Havertz. Then Fred will go all the way back to the goalkeeper, David De Gea, away to our left, decked out all in black.
Yeah, and that is the benefit of playing a 3 at the back for Chelsea, because it becomes a 5 at a moment's notice, and there was just nowhere for United to go. Absolutely no space whatsoever.
McTominay's forward pass intercepted by Chelsea. Kante runs into trouble, pokes it towards Havertz, challenged by Bruno Fernandes, ricochets over on the right hand side to Marcus Rashford, taking a brief break from setting government policy here in the UK to play for Manchester United. Gives the ball away that time.
Good on him.
As quick as he gives away food to underprivileged children in Manchester.
Well, good on him.
Yes.
Someone's got to take these buffoons on.
Yes, and it is seemingly only Marcus Rashford standing up for people in the UK right now, and scoring goals for United in the Champions League as well. Not a bad week for him.
Yeah, good lad. Total respect for him.
8.5 minutes gone here. Frank Lampard, our first sighting of him, up on the edge of his technical area, wearing club hat today to shield from the rain. No one's brave enough to bring the umbrella to the touchline anymore. Not everyone's going to be the Wally with the brolly. I'm sure we can turn the reputation of the umbrella around. Someone's got to do it. Not Frank Lampard, though. Forwards with Victor Lindelof, a few yards inside his own half on the right-hand side. Looks infield to Maguire in the centre circle. 9 minutes gone. Still 0-0 here on Premier League Live. Back to Maguire again, right-footed, over the top, trying to find Dan James down the left channel again. First touch was out of his body, but he was offside before Reece James nicked it off him anyway. It's the pass that you said won't work, and twice it hasn't.
Yeah. Because it's going to skip off the pitch, he's having to pinch a couple of yards. Now, this is twice Harry's tried it now, and I just don't like it. And I think the thing is as well, is because even if he does control it, Dan James, Reece James, they've got to know that Reece James is there to mark him. He's going to be right on his toes to pinch the ball away.
Pretty solid from Chelsea so far, who have struggled defensively this season, and indeed under Frank Lampard during his time as manager. 63 goals in 43 Premier League matches conceded, an average of 1.5 goals per game, the worst record of any permanent Chelsea manager. But so far pretty solid against the United side, who only have one of the much vaunted front 3 in their side today. That is Marcus Rashford. Greenwood on the bench, Martial suspended. Chelsea have the ball in their defensive left-back area with N'Golo Kante. Chips upfield under some pressure, trying to find Timo Werner over his head. The ball goes back to Lindelof for Manchester United. 10.5 minutes gone. It's goalless at Old Trafford. Ball with Maguire under pressure from Werner, left to Shaw, approaching the halfway. Can't get around Kai Havertz. Ball is loose and picked up by Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes nutmeg on his man there, Jorginho, and finds Juan Mata, who's come in field. Behind him is McTominay, right to Wan-Bissaka, into Juan Mata. Into the final third go Manchester United. Mata left-footed crossfield to the left. Bruno Fernandes has pulled out there. Shaw overlapping, ball into space, cleared away by Cesar Azpilicueta as Shaw looked to get on the end of that through ball. Again, good solidity from Chelsea defensively, not something we've come to expect from Frank Lampard's Blues.
No, it's a clear game plan at the moment. Just nullify all the threats from United, which at the moment appear to be Dan James and Dan James only, and then get a foothold in the game.
9 goals conceded in their opening 5 matches from Chelsea so far. 3 against Southampton, 3 against West Bromwich Albion. Though it has been errors rather than perhaps poor organisation that have led to quite a lot of those goals, as Reece James shields the ball out from a forward pass from Manchester United for a goal kick to Chelsea. Can Frank Lampard legislate for that many individual errors? 5 of the 9 goals have come statistically from individual mistakes.
Yeah, well, I think you can, because I think individual mistakes really, I don't believe that there's such a thing, unless they're glaring. But it's always a team thing. There's always a mistake that's been made further up the pitch, or somebody wasn't in the right position to begin with. You don't see those. You know, it's a stat that I don't really place any stock in whatsoever. They're a lot better than they're showing, and I think what I can see here is that there's a definite game plan.
Jorginho over the top here from midway inside his own half, hooks one forward, the Fabregas to Costa style. This time it's Jorginho to Werner, intercepted by Maguire, heads into touch for a throw-in on the far side to Chelsea. It's a tactic that worked against Southampton last week for one of Werner's goals and nearly came off there. Good defensive work, well scouted by Harry Maguire.
Yeah, I was just saying there's a definite game plan here, which is just see what United have got for the first 15 minutes, which is not a lot. Chelsea look quite comfortable, and then get their attacking players into the game, which they've made no attempt to do, Chelsea, really, as yet. And now the game's starting to settle down. Chelsea getting some possession. This is the first time that they've actually had some decent possession in the United half.
Up to 14 minutes, Chelsea have had 55% of the ball, but most of it has been, as Dave says, in their own half of the field. They're trying to cross the halfway line now. Jorginho is brought down by Fred and Fernandes combined, and that's a free kick to Chelsea, which they work out left to Chilwell. Into Pulisic, back to Chilwell, back inside their own half, go Chelsea. Tactic was to press Newcastle from this exact Manchester United side. Worked really well at St James's Park, and it stopped Chelsea advancing much beyond the halfway line so far today.
Yeah, they were going to, United, clearly they were going to go for it for 15 minutes, try and put Chelsea under pressure. And they did try. They didn't put them under any pressure, but they did try to go for it. But Chelsea were so comfortable, and now they're getting some decent possession of the ball.
Yeah, didn't force Mendy into anything resembling a save. We are yet to have our first shot of any description in the match so far as we approach the 15th minute. Certainly been a lot cagier than maybe we'd anticipated. Maybe the opening few weeks' flurry of goals has come to an end, and defensive solidity is returning to the Premier League. Good for managers. Bad for us. Ball is with Thiago Silva, the veteran Brazilian Paris Saint-Germain legend, finds a pass left to Zouma, who approaches the halfway line. Square to N'Golo Kante, tries to flick it into Kai Havertz, but Maguire read it and brings Manchester United clear into Dan James, onto Fred, Kante, Werner, hunting. He's done well, though, the Manchester United man, to find a pass back to his goalkeeper David De Gea, right to Wan-Bissaka, into McTominay. Lindelof clears, flicked by Fernandes, recovered by Zouma, miscontrolled by Chilwell. Throw into Manchester United. 15 minutes gone. Throw into the Red Devils. It's 0-0 at the moment.
Yeah, neither team can really put anything telling together once they get to the edge of each other's box. It all breaks down a little bit. Maguire doing well to read a through ball that was going into Havertz there, but it always, as you say, it's very, very. I don't know whether the weather is having an effect on it. It just seems a very cagey game to me.
It's the kind of game where a ball in behind in this sort of weather could be really threatening.
Yeah, a mistake or something, a slip, something like that might just open this game up.
Maybe explains why both teams' defences have just sat a touch deep in the opening few minutes, as Marcus Rashford's gone down here holding the back of his head. Kurt Zouma challenging him for a 50-50 ball. It was flicked on by Rashford, who then got a bit of a clump from Kurt Zouma for his trouble. Here's just a drop ball, though, as referee Martin Atkinson saw no foul. He is our referee today. Stuart Atwell, the VAR, yet to be called into action. Jonathan Moss is the fourth official. Down getting wet, standing next to Frank Lampard. Chelsea look forward down the right-hand side. Ball in the air. Picked up by Kai Havertz, approaching the corner of the area. Lovely flick behind him by Jorginho, trying to release Havertz. Cleared away by the retreating Luke Shaw. That's a Chelsea corner on the attacking right-hand side.
Yeah, it's a little bit better. I mean, it was scrappy how they got there, Chelsea. They're just trying to leave one in behind. It's tricky because the ball's skipping out. They're having to judge it so precisely. And on that occasion, Havertz just put enough pressure on the shoulder of Shaw, and the only thing he could do was stick a toe out, put it behind for a corner.
Corner on the attacking right to be taken by the big money signing from Leicester City, Ben Chilwell for Chelsea. Left-footed cross towards Zouma, hits the back of his leg, then turned forward by Pulisic. Weak shot with the right boot, recovered by Werner on the left after a deflection. And Kante picked it up in the centre circle, found with a back pass from Jorginho, clips it out left to Werner, heads it back into play, just kept it on, heads it to Pulisic, running forward, challenged by Scott McTominay to throw in on the left-hand side to Chelsea, midway inside Manchester United territory, which Werner, no stranger to playing inside left, wants to take, leaves it for Chilwell, goes back to centre forward. Into Jorginho, who controls and turns infield and finds a pass to Azpilicueta. On to Reece James, running outside of Luke Shaw, level with the penalty area, back to Azpilicueta, cross comes in, away from the head of Maguire, picked up by Kante, who heads it first time back diagonal to Zouma. Zouma, a predominantly right-footed player, looks back towards the halfway line, and Thiago Silva, diagonal towards Chilwell, away by Wan-Bissaka, picked up by Pulisic on the left. Behind him is Chilwell, into Timo Werner. Werner leaves it short for Kurt Zouma behind him. Back to the centre circle and Thiago Silva. To his right is the Chelsea captain Azpilicueta. Bit of space for Havertz, who dropped away from the United defence. Right to James. Low cross comes in. Blocked by Maguire. Reece James again. Not a great pass to Jorginho, but he's recovered it well. There's the Chelsea number 5. And the Blues have possession again in United territory. Thiago Silva cross field, right to left. Beautiful to Chilwell. Left-footed cross blocked by Wan-Bissaka. And that's corner to Chelsea this time on the left. 19 minutes gone, it's 0-0.
Yeah, and this is the big difference, because when United had their 15 minutes, the ball was coming from Maguire, and it was coming from inside their own half, and the ball was so long that it was skipping out of play. The balls that Chelsea are doing, which are similar balls, but they're already inside the United half.
Corner taken short to Pulisic, corner of the area, left-hand side, runs against Reece James, cross comes in, away by McTominay. Bit of a slicer from Scott McTominay. And United players are claiming that's gone out for a throw-in, not a corner kick. We'll wait to see what the decision is by the referee. Going to be a throw, I think, just by the corner flag. Got a bit lucky there, I think. Scott McTominay, because that could easily have been another corner. Chilwell will take the throw right by the corner flag on the left-hand side. 20 minutes gone, Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0 on Premier League Live. Havertz, return pass intercepted, another throw taken into N'Golo Kante, who's getting forward. Looks to release Kai Havertz outside, challenge again by McTominay, gives another throw in away. Chilwell will take it, level with the penalty area. Into Jorginho, back to Chilwell. There's 5 Man United players there trying to stop Chelsea getting out of that area. They have failed to do so. Conte's forward pass, though, has got a chance here for Wan-Bissaka to win it back. That's a poor ball there to Chilwell, as they just got out of that area. Yeah. And then they played it straight back into it.
Yeah, and this is the thing with United, is that when the possession changes, they've had their 15 minutes. When it goes back the other way and the other teams start getting on top, there's a desperation about United that they're expecting the worst, and it happened there as well. 5 players around the ball trying to stop that cross from coming in, and they're all getting in each other's toes, all trying to do the same jobs. They're not trusting each other to do their own jobs and stop the ball.
They had a goal kick there, which they pumped upfield. They've immediately given it away to Chelsea, who in turn pass it back to Manchester United inside the Red Devils' half. It's back to Maguire, who clips it left to Shaw, up towards the halfway line. Shaw to Rashford, running at Thiago Silva. Challenges 1, then 2, wins both. Thiago Silva ricochets off Shaw last, and that's going to be a throw in to Chelsea on the halfway line. Just a game that's been a touch flat so far from these two teams. Is that not surprising, considering they were both in Champions League action in midweek?
Yeah, I think there probably is a little bit of tiredness there. I don't think this rain is helping. It's certainly some of the balls that ordinarily would hold up and you'd be able to get the entire team up the pitch and play from there are just skipping straight out of play. But United, for me, they're looking, as I say, just every now and again when the ball goes forward, there's just that hint of desperation about the defending.
22 minutes gone. Here's Thiago Silva to his right. Cesar Azpilicueta, two trophy-laden careers for them two. Diagonal from the right towards Timo Werner in the area. Cleared away by Maguire. Recovered by Pulisic. Cleared by Lindelof this time. Strong challenge by Reece James to beat Dan James. Chelsea retake possession again around the halfway. On the right, Azpilicueta behind him finds the veteran Thiago Silva. Azpilicueta out right to N'Golo Kante. Back to goal. The man whose Chelsea future, much like Jorginho's, was very much up for debate during the summer. N'Golo Kante, but returned to his central midfield berth. Has had a bit of a rejuvenation at the start of this season, leading numerous categories for Chelsea in terms of statistics, interceptions, duels, forward passes, possession won, tackles won. Incredible, really, that anybody would consider replacing N'Golo Kante, but it has been a consideration for Chelsea. Declan Rice has been linked for a long, long time.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I was speaking to Rob Huth about it, and they were together at Leicester, obviously, when they won the league, and I asked him about Kante because he'd just left to go to Chelsea. I did an interview with Rob, and he said, Dave, what people don't realise, he never gets a chance to show it, but he was probably the best passer that we had, and I actually prefer him the further forward that he is. But I think everyone sees him as this player that's sat in front of the back four.
All action, up and down midfielder, but he gets you back on the ball, which is so crucial, and he's trying to do it here as he chases down Rashford away from Kante, and Zouma trying to release Wan-Bissaka on the right hand side. Forward passes come off the toe of the retreating Chilwell, and that's going to be a corner to Manchester United on the attacking right hand side. Yeah,
it's good from Rashford, because I don't think he's at his best when he has to stop, hold the ball up and wait for players, because he can turn. The way he deals with it, the way he gets his team up the pitch is to get the ball under control and spin his defender and run, and that gets the entire team up the pitch. He did it really well there. He put some good pressure on that Chelsea back line.
First corner of the match for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes will take it. It's a deep one towards Maguire. Maguire heads down, Zouma away. Timo Werner can bring Chelsea upfield. Pressure by Fred. He carries right, pokes it down the right sideline. Half expecting himself to be there, maybe. But no, Timo, you are the centre forward. And it goes straight to Luke Shaw, who retakes possession. 25 minutes gone, it's 0-0 between Man United and Chelsea. At TalkSport Live, the place to get in touch. Platinum with us out in Lagos this evening. Hope you're staying safe, mate. Mr. Boom in New Jersey. Ben listening to us. Rashid also in Nigeria. Richard listening to us too, enjoying the commentary on a rainy night. Ryan in upstate New York. Listeners in Cork as well, getting in touch. At TalkSport Live, the place to do so. Brian in Alabama. At TalkSport Live, let us know where in the world you are listening, your thoughts on the game as well. As Luke Shaw looks to slip one towards Wan-Bissaka, who's gone out to the left-hand side. But again, intercepted by Chelsea's solid defence. Really no change at all from Chelsea for Manchester United so far. Jorginho square through two United players to Kante, who clips crossfield to the left-hand side, and Chilwell, who's got some space to exploit. Forward over the top towards Kai Havertz, who is onside, looks to release Timo Werner. Oh, and Werner just couldn't get on the end of that through ball. A touch over hit from Kai Havertz. I thought he was going to be given offside here, but
I think he may well have been. He's just leaning forward slightly. It's a lot tighter than I originally thought it was. His next pass again, Werner may have been offside, but it's two balls that United just don't deal with. That little clip, reverse clip in from Chilwell into Havertz. He takes it down well. No one reacts, and he manages to slip a ball through to Werner that just gets out of his reach. But again, nobody around him from a United point of view.
Well, we've seen a couple of replays there, and there's a chance that Havertz was onside and then Werner would have been offside. So that is a pretty decent chance, maybe the best we have seen in this game so far. And Chelsea's club record signing Kai Havertz, £75.8 million from Bayer Leverkusen during this big spending summer, should have done better in that situation. High ball here towards Chilwell from Chelsea, away by Wan-Bissaka on the edge of his own area. Recovered nicely by Pulisic. Left to Chilwell, that's a foul surely by Fred. He got one foot on the ball, but the second was a swipe through Chilwell, and that's a free kick close to the corner of the penalty area on the left-hand side.
He doesn't need to. That's where Fred's a bit reckless. It's that desperation I talk about in the United defence, which extends to that midfield too in front, trying to help them. It all gets a bit desperate. You know, Chilwell was already turning back out because he knew he couldn't get the cross, and he was already going back towards his own half. There's just no need to do it, and he does it time and time again.
Free kick left-hand side. It's about 22, 24 yards away from the end line left-hand side, nearer the sideline than penalty area. Good position for Reece James, who's over it. Right foot, it goes towards the near post, goes for goal, I think. David De Gea not sold by the eyes there of Reece James, and that's a real waste from Chelsea.
Yeah, it's difficult to know what Reece James is trying to do, to be honest. It wasn't good either way.
At the other end, Wan-Bissaka brings Manchester United forward. James with the headed clearance for Chelsea. Pulisic flicks on towards Jorginho, recovered by McTominay, forward by Maguire. Left to Wan-Bissaka, bouncing ball, tough to control, failed to do so. Cleared by Reece James down the right channel, picked up by Maguire on the halfway. 28 minutes gone, it is still goalless. And we are really waiting for some attacking impetus. Two leggy looking sides here. And it is in the driving, horrid rain at Old Trafford, but still I think we expect better from these two teams.
Yeah, there's nothing in terms of a shape that you can see really from either team.
Dan James is goal side of Reece James, approaching the penalty area, running at Azpilicueta, failing to get past him. Dan James picks up the second ball, back to Fred, into Bruno Fernandes, edge of the area, two around him, back to Scott McTominay, shoots a goal, blocked by Pulisic. Wan-Bissaka happy to let it go out for a throw into Manchester United on the right hand side.
Yeah, I don't know why, just keep it in, cross it. Don't understand that at all.
Well, he's taken the throw, and now Fernandes under pressure when Wan-Bissaka would not have been.
Yeah, I don't get that. Why are you letting the ball roll? There's no one anywhere near you. Get the ball and cross it.
Well, Chelsea won the ball back, and they've now won a throw on the left-hand side. Bruno Fernandes was challenged after the throw-in from Wan-Bissaka, feeling his teeth. Maybe took a stray arm, or Mendy square ball in his own 6-yard box, nearly went in his own net there. Mendy, the goalkeeper, was found by Zouma. To his right was Thiago Silva, and he's played it so close to his own goal line, it's actually gone for a corner. My word, that was nearly a calamitous own goal from Mendy.
Goodness me.
He's caught Keperitis.
Well, my heart skipped a beat there. I'm not even a Chelsea fan. What on earth is going on with that?
Well, I imagine Kepa Arrizabalaga not in the Chelsea squad today. Watching at home, I'm sure, maybe had a wry smile there as the corner comes in. It's away by Thiago Silva. Recovered by Fred. Down the line to Mata. Back to Fred again. Left-footed cross blocked by Timo Werner. Goes into touch for another corner to Manchester United.
Well,
and our hearts are just settling down, I think.
Yeah, well, it is, yeah. And I was just watching them and just waiting to see a replay. I've got one now. I mean, McTominay chucking it. Harry Maguire chucked himself on the ground first, then McTominay's, which was even worse. He literally just threw himself on the pitch.
Another corner comes in. It's towards Victor Lindelof, away by Zouma. Bruno Fernandes strikes a goal, cleared by Kai Havertz around the penalty spot. Recovered by Wan-Bissaka, forward by Fred. Down the left channel to Mata, short to Shaw. Into Dan James. Bruno Fernandes, pocket of space, takes the shot. It's on target from Bruno Fernandes, but straight down the throat of Edouard Mendy. Yeah,
it's comfortable. It's comfortable from Mendy, but a nice little interchange between Luke Shaw, Dan James, who squares it back, and he's trying to hit that. We see a couple of players, don't we, with those free kicks, are trying to loop them up over, and I think just when you're in the middle of the goal, just put your laces through it.
Nice football from Chelsea to play out from the back, and they've made it towards the halfway line where N'Golo Kante leads the charge. Away from Dan James, helps it on to Kai Havertz. To his right is Reece James, approaching the penalty area. Crossfield clip is rather aimless, and Wan-Bissaka can get the header. Fernandes takes over, snapped into him is Jorginho, and then Timo Werner picks it up, square ball, away by Maguire. Recovered by Bruno Fernandes again. Another brilliant challenge from Jorginho to get Chelsea on the ball. Down the left-hand side, Chilwell, away from a tame challenge from Bruno Fernandes. Cross comes in, it's away by Maguire. Recovered by N'Golo Kante. Good work by Jorginho there to force the issue for Chelsea as Manchester United won the ball back a couple times. Here they come again, Chelsea. Chilwell down the line to Pulisic, left-hand side. In the area now, Pulisic strikes! On target from Christian Pulisic, but straight at the goalkeeper, David De Gea, who holds.
No, he's not having a good time of it, Bruno Fernandes. He really isn't. They're around him like flies because he's not having a great game. He keeps giving the ball away. They keep catching him on the ball, and they did it 3 times there. Pulisic, all he wants to do is get into the box. Once he gets into the box, it becomes really, really difficult to take the ball off him without giving away a little foul.
Again, rather passing Bruno Fernandes by at the moment.
Yeah, it's not his best game.
Some will ask where Paul Pogba is. He's on the bench right now for Manchester United, as is Edinson Cavani, Mason Greenwood, Donny van de Beek. They do have attacking options amongst their subs. Same side that thrashed Newcastle United in their last Premier League game was the pick of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today. I think it's fair to say it's not worked as well here as it did at St James's Park. Good challenge by Pulisic to rob Fred, and Pulisic is running at Lindelof here, and he shoots! Oh, it's just wide. Brilliant from Christian Pulisic. A chance all of his own making. Right-footed, just drags it wide. Takes advantage there of Manchester United once again just not being on the ball.
What is Fred doing? Fred's trying to do one of those Zidane pirouettes in the middle of the pitch. Puts his entire team under pressure. And to be fair, Pulisic, this is what he wants to do, drive into the box. Like I just mentioned, once he gets in there, he's a really tricky player to take the ball off without just catching his ankle or his heels or something and giving away a foul.
It's come off a United leg last. There will be a corner to Chelsea. Tossed in the area, up in the air from Lindelof, volleyed away by Bruno Fernandes, and Chelsea retake possession with N'Golo Kante, who goes all the way back to Edouard Mendy, his goalkeeper, away to our right. 34 minutes gone. It is still goalless, Dave. So far, Chelsea looking much the better side.
Yeah, they do. They just, as I keep saying, they just saw out that 15 minutes from United, let them blow themselves out, and then really with this 3 at the back that they're playing, they were able to have good possession of the ball, push their fullbacks forward, which is what they're doing now with Reece James. And Dan James isn't getting any change out of Reece James on that side, and that's enabling Reece James to push up the pitch. We haven't seen his crossing ability yet, but he is causing problems in a different way.
Ball forward towards Pulisic, looks to nutmeg McTominay with a little flick, but it's won back by the Scottish midfielder. Fired up towards Rashford, back to Bruno Fernandes, then Mata finds Rashford, and Rashford is through here, and he's on target with the drive, but it's saved with the big boot of Edouard Mendy.
Oh, it's a brilliant save, because I thought that was in. Rashford does everything right. He approaches the goal at the perfect angle, just cuts in towards it ever so slightly. He's got the legs on Azpilicueta, who can't get back at him. Shoots from just outside the area. It is a brilliant save from Mendy's outstretched right leg, but it's Jorginho in the middle. They'll be going mad at him because Jorginho gets the ball and he tries to play it round one side and run round the other, and it gets cut out, and then it's just one through ball through to Rashford.
That's the good start from Edouard Mendy as the corner is chipped towards the edge of the area. Fernandes never getting that. Thiago Silva read it and heads up towards the halfway line. 10 minutes to go until half-time. Fred on the halfway, crossfield left to right to Bruno Fernandes. He will then find Wan-Bissaka with the diagonal up against Reece James. Running infield, finds Maguire, who's still forward. First time left to Shaw. He'll find Fred behind. Dan James challenged by N'Golo Kante. Ricochets off a Chelsea leg last for a throw on that far side. Game is just passing Dan James by at the moment. Same can be said of a few Manchester United players, but it only takes a moment.
Yeah,
as Rashford just showed us.
Yeah, absolutely. That does, and I think that's going to be their game plan more and more, United, because they can't compete with Chelsea in terms of keeping the ball and keeping sustained attacks. You know, United have an attack, and then generally Chelsea get back on the ball. Chelsea have an attack, then they have another one and another one and another one. And Man U can't. They really can't compete with them in that area. You do feel if they're going to get something, it'll be Maguire from a corner or a mistake where Rashford runs through and punishes.
McTominay back to David De Gea, who clears long upfield. One in the middle by Jorginho. Straight into touch for a throw into Manchester United. We're seeing the replay here of that chance by Rashford. It's good goalkeeping by Mendy. Makes a good save.
Yeah.
But maybe Rashford could have lifted that ball beyond him. Was it a bad finish?
I think he does. I think he does everything right. It's, you know, they teach you as a kid. You come in from an angle, you go across the keeper. He does that. Mendy, it's a good save. It's a good reflex save.
How much would Edinson Cavani have liked a chance like that? The veteran striker on the bench now, waiting for his Manchester United debut. N'Golo Kante gives a free kick away here on the halfway line. Too strong on Fred as the two tussle for the ball.
It'd be interesting to see if Cavani does get his debut and see what happens in this game. I mean, if Chelsea nick one, then yeah, he may. But the longer this goes on, I'm not sure if he's how desperate Ollie will be to try and go all out to win this game. I think you just need to steady the ship at home. Point against Chelsea wouldn't be bad given the circumstances.
Well, Cavani may be past his best, and he's not played for the best part of a year, but since coming to Europe back in 2007, Palermo and Napoli, only Ronaldo and Messi have scored more across European football's top 5 leagues than Edinson Cavani. So the pedigree is there, but I feel like we said something similar with Falcao when he was here, and that didn't quite work out.
Yeah, well, I think Cavani's got the work ethic. I think that's the difference. And I think what I really like about Cavani is he's often played second fiddle to huge signings.
Well, nice touch here by Reece James away from Luke Shaw. We'll come back to that as Shaw is surely holding the shoulders of Reece James. Several fouls by a desperate Luke Shaw. Eventually Reece James goes down as he got as far upfield as he could, and as Dave Gibson says there, Luke Shaw has earned his yellow card. Yeah, Reece James, who has probably been the best player on the pitch actually, because he's completely nullified the threat of Dan James, and he's offered something going forward. He's got a great delivery on him. He's one of the, I think, maybe the best crosser in the Premier League. I know it's quite a bold claim. Here we go.
Well, give us another one. Tweet in and tell us
well, he's not taking this free kick. He's not even the best free kick taker at Chelsea, according to Frank Lampard.
He's not even the best drummer at Chelsea.
And Chilwell going to do his Reece James impression here and take this free kick over on the right hand side. It does favour an in-swinger with the left boot. Here it is now from Chilwell, delivered in, away by Maguire. Shouts of holding from Chelsea on Azpilicueta. Martin Atkinson not interested. I'm sure Stuart Atwell will be having a look at Stockley Park as United chip down the left hand side. They don't really break with any particular passion or pace, and the ball's got into touch from a Chelsea head. And we're just seeing the replay here, and that's a penalty, isn't it?
Oh, honestly,
that's got to be a penalty.
Harry Maguire, it's a sleeper hold from Harry Maguire on Azpilicueta.
Bruce the Barber beefcake.
I mean, how do you expect Azpilicueta to get anything on that ball being held like that?
Gotta be a penalty. Gotta be. Not given. Not even reviewed. Not even reviewed. Unbelievable. Well, that's the kind of thing you can't do under Tier 3 restrictions. Maguire's done it on the field. Let's off Manchester United. Can they capitalise at the other end? Here's Rashford running inside the penalty area. Back to Mata. Early strike. Good save to his right by Mendy. Finally, the game is spicing up. Yeah, it is. It is. I think Man United, they might even feel themselves that they got away with one. But it's a good 1-2 with Fernandes and Luke Shaw into Rashford. And once he drives into that box, Chelsea, they know Rashford wants to try and bend one in that far corner. They don't allow it to do that, and all he can do is play it back to Mato with that left foot. He's still capable if you give him a chance. And we're just hearing here there's a little VAR check going on for a challenge by N'Golo Kante on Rashford. Potential penalty here for Manchester United. Now, I didn't see anything there. There's nothing in the replay we've just seen, so hopefully it's not going to end up in a penalty, though things usually do. I know there's a few friendly bets going on right now as to what minute Manchester United get a penalty today. Well, we're in the 41st for those that are playing that game. It's the left foot. If this is a penalty, and then we might as well Maguire one is not a penalty, then honestly I don't know what we're watching anymore. No, we might as well go home. But it's the left foot of Kante on Rashford, who catches him on the back of the hill. But the ball's already 2 metres away. Rashford has already released the ball. He's passed it to Mata. He definitely catches him, but
it's not intentional, it's just the way they're all running, trying to close down the space. If this is a penalty,
well, it just can't be. It just can't be. United have been awarded 17 penalties since the start of last season. 5 more than any other side. 17% of all Premier League goals they have scored since the start of last season have been penalties. But that surely can't be one. We're just being told the check is over. It's not a penalty. And the corner comes in. McTominay flicks on. It's away by Thiago Silva, then cleared long by N'Golo Kante. Why was there a long check for that and almost no check for the penalty at the other end, which would have been a penalty, surely?
Well, there was no check, was there? Absolutely no check at the other end. That's why he didn't even go to a review. This from Kante is, he's looking at the ball. He gets blocked off from Dan James, which throws his run into Rashford. It's just a tangle of legs. The ball's already gone anyways, and just no point in even reviewing it. You can have all the camera angles you like, all the reviews you want, all the instant replays you want. You've still got some guy sat in an office who's never played the game in his life.
Yeah. But you don't need to have played to have a lick of common sense.
No, you don't.
You know what? They haven't given it, so well done. They haven't given it. They looked at it and it wasn't. That is the right decision in the end, as Luke Shaw carries Manchester United forward, looks to slip in Dan James, again Reece James. Best crosser in all world football, apparently. He puts in a really good challenge there. That's what I've heard.
This is how rumours get started.
He's put in a really good challenge there. And here's Chilwell, who carries Chelsea over the halfway, and he's still going here. Wants to slip in Werner. That's a really good challenge by Wan-Bissaka there. Perhaps not the right ball there from Chilwell. And Kante has found Bruno Fernandes as United look to counter.
Yeah, he read it well. Actually, Wan-Bissaka, just as Chilwell was driving with that ball, he narrowed up and didn't let that ball go inside himself and his centre half.
Well, you've annoyed the Twitterverse, Dave. Danny says Alexander-Arnold's a better crosser. Selby says something similar. Timmy says, what about Aaron Cresswell? He's even better than Reece James. What's Kitson on? What are you on, Kitson? We'll come back to that, maybe during the break. I'm not sure if it's broadcastable. Minutes to go until 45 are up. And United are coming forward again with Dan James into Mata, out left to Shaw, level with the area on the sideline, away from Reece James, pokes towards Mata, comes off a Chelsea toe and goes through to Edouard Mendy in his own 6-yard box. So the real Dubit says Luca Digne is better than Reece James across it. They're all coming out the woodwork here.
No, he isn't. No, he isn't.
Standing by his guns.
No, Alexander Arnold, yeah, I think he is. I think he's a wonderful crosser of the ball. And the thing with Alexander Arnold is he crosses from so deep sometimes, and it's still right on the money. And that's a real talent to get that pace on from when you're way out on the touchline. Yeah. But Reece James, I just think his balls seem to hit their intended target 9 times out of 10. I would have loved to have played with him as a striker, honestly.
I never knew he was aiming for the first man. There we go. Now we know. Here he is now, Reece James. Just joking, Chelsea fans. Having some fun. Come on, like that.
Oh, well, that's what the game is all about, isn't it? It's all about opinions. I just say what you see.
If you see it, say it. You can see Thiago Silva on the ball here, midway inside his own half. To his right is Cesar Azpilicueta. Back to Thiago Silva. Silva edges his way forward. Fernandes for company. Down the line from Chelsea towards Chilwell. Just 1 minute has been added on at the end of this opening half, and it's going to be a tough interval for both Frank Lampard and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Chelsea need a slight improvement. Manchester United need a vast improvement, and Chelsea have got Kai Havertz booked here for pulling back Fred as United look to break away.
Yeah, well, the good thing for us is that no two halves are ever the same. We're going to get something completely different, but I think Frank will be a lot keener to win this.
Here's Mata coming forward for Manchester United, right to Wan-Bissaka, cross deflected in the 6-yard box. Well dealt with by Mendy, went to ground and gathered to his right and gets a pat on the backside from Cesar Azpilicueta, and congratulations.
Yeah, I think Frank would see this as 2 dropped, and Ollie would probably see it as a decent point gained.
That's the half-time whistle. There's still 45 minutes for these two teams to get more than the point they are currently getting from it. It's not been a classic so far between these two top 6 sides. United, a couple of half chances, well saved by Mendy, one from Mata, one from Rashford. At the other end, Havertz and Werner haven't quite linked up so far. You'd say Chelsea have been the better side, United the better chances, no goals at the break. Well, their analysis to follow. You are listening to Premier League Live.
As darkness sweeps around the globe at 8 p.m. on the 18th of November, 25,000 people worldwide will pull their running shoes on to hit the road for a virtual 5 or 10k at Run in the Dark. I'm Mark Pollock, and by joining us to Run in the Dark this November, you'll be supporting the Mark Pollock Trust and our charity partner Collaborative Cures, whose mission it is to cure paralysis in our lifetime. Register now at runinthedark.org and get your medal, your flashing armband, and your Run in the Dark virtual timing app. Thank you.
Let's talk about you looking after your business. Ford, looking after your vehicle. Let's talk hassle-free Ford leasing. Just a fixed monthly payment, no motor tax to deal with, and no maintenance or servicing to pay on selected plans. Get the all-new Ford Kuga from €425 per month. Hassle-free Ford lease. Now we're talking. Search Ford lease or text Ford to 50015 to speak to us about leasing your next vehicle.
Text cost to standard rate. Price quoted for a Kuga Titanium with no maintenance over 4 years with 3 monthly rentals in advance. 20,000 kilometres per annum. Business users only. Price excludes VAT. Ford Lease is provided by Merriam Fleet Management, trading as Ford Lease.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track, and who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football, plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
This is not the time for business as usual. It's time for effort and imagination. It's time to use technology to start your online plans. It's time to work from home to stay in touch. It's time to look to each other. Erscoa Kayla. Ireland is working online with help from Black Knight and .ie, because now we need better than business as usual. Call Black Knight on 059 918 3027 or visit blackknight.ie.
123ink.ie for all your home office needs, including printers, ink, toners, paper, label markers, binders, pens, bins, batteries, boxes, chalk, compass, files, memory sticks, highlighters, glue, notepads, pencils, whoa! And we're cheaper than your current supplier. 123ink.ie for home, for office, for less.
Introducing Guardson Sport. Protect your sporting equipment from COVID-19 for up to 14 days with Guardson Sport disinfectant treatment. Ideal in team sport settings with the sharing of balls, rackets, gloves, helmets and all other sporting equipment. Guardson Sport kills COVID-19 on impact, keeping surfaces free from COVID-19 and other viruses and bacteria for up to 14 days by creating a protective polymer layer on application. For more information on Guardson Sport and other quality assured, certified and approved PPE, visit yourcovidprotection.com.
Half-time on Premier League Live, the third of 4 feature games in English football's top division today, comes from Old Trafford, where Manchester United are taking on Chelsea. Not great so far, goalless at the break. Here's the best of it. Mendy square ball in his own 6-yard box, nearly went in his own net there. Mendy, the goalkeeper, was found by Zouma. To his right was Thiago Silva, and he's played it so close to his own goal line, it's actually gone for a corner. My word, that was nearly a calamitous own goal from Mendy.
Goodness me.
He's caught Keperitis.
Well, my heart skipped a beat there. I'm not even a Chelsea fan. What on earth is going on with that?
Chilwell down the line to Pulisic, left-hand side. In the area now, Pulisic strikes on target from Christian Pulisic, but straight at the goalkeeper David De Gea hole.
All he wants to do is get into the box. Once he gets into the box, it becomes really, really difficult to take the ball off him without giving away a little foul.
Mata finds Rashford, and Rashford is through here, and he's on target with the drive, but it's saved with the big boot of Edouard Mendy.
Oh, it's a brilliant save, because I thought that was in. Rashford does everything right. He approaches the goal at the perfect angle, just cuts in towards it ever so slightly. He's got the legs on Azpilicueta, who can't get back at him. Shoots from just outside the area. It is a brilliant save from Mendy's outstretched right leg.
Yeah, that's the best chance of the first half so far. Edouard Mendy making a really fantastic save from Marcus Rashford. He's also saved from Mata. Also nearly scored an own goal as well in that opening half. Dave Kitson has watched the opening 45 minutes with me, the former Premier League striker. Dave, not a great day for the strikers so far. It's not exactly been chance-laden. What do you made of the two teams' performances, starting with Manchester United?
Yeah, I think United in their general play, they look leggy, don't they? They do look a little bit disjointed, a little bit leggy, and their best chance is, as I said in the commentary, it looks as if it's going to be a header, Lindelof and Maguire from a corner, or a mistake, a one-on-one that Rashford goes in on and punishes that back line. Apart from that, Chelsea really don't seem to be in a massive amount of danger.
But considering that, Chelsea, who have seemed comfortable, they've not really created anything, have they?
No, well, the best crosser in the Premier League, Reece James, has he's been nullified a little bit. We've seen one run from him where he did look dangerous, and it drew a yellow card from Luke Shaw. I'd like to see him get on the ball. I'd like to see, Werner, I think he's so suited to the Premier League. I think he's got everything to be a great Premier League.
He's not centre forward though, is he?
I think
he's an inside left. All their players are inside left.
Yeah, well, I think that he's going to have to be, because I think that's why they bought him. I think they're going to try to position him as that number 9. But at the moment, it doesn't look like one. But I don't think he's being helped in Chelsea's approach. I think you've got to give him some service. Look, he might not be an outright number 9 at the moment, but he still knows where the goal is.
Yeah. If I'm Olivier Giroud or Tammy Abraham, I'm thinking, get me on there, cross me the ball, let's cause some chaos in that Manchester United back line. But so far, they've not really created too many chances despite looking comfortable. Is a 0-0 draw a good result for Chelsea?
No, I think it'll be 2. Like I say, I think Frank would look at this. If this game stayed as a draw, Frank would look at this as 2 dropped, because this United team are there for the taking. They've already lost 2 at home. They look really leggy. They're on a Champions League hangover. I think that Chelsea have got the energy. They've got the players to take this game if they really believe. Solskjaer, I think, at this point would be thinking, do you know what? If we get out of here with a point, we'll take it.
For the moment, Dave Kitson, thank you very much indeed. It is goalless at half-time between Manchester United and Chelsea. Just before this one, a match at Craven Cottage for Russ Hargreaves. It was Fulham against Crystal Palace, and here's how it turned out.
Well, the rock-bottom Cottagers have now equalled their worst ever start to a Premier League season, as the pressure surely grows on boss Scott Parker, whose team not only lacked quality and structure for much of this London derby, but by the end were also short on work rate and discipline. Abubakar Kamara getting himself sent off for a lunge on fellow sub Eberichi Eze, the foul upgraded from yellow to red via VAR. Well, skipper Tom Kearney's injury time pile driver was in truth scant consolation on the bank of the Thames, where Palace have now won on consecutive visits. Back at his old stomping ground where he excelled a decade ago, Roy Hodgson's men took the lead for a first of the season from Dutchman Shiro Riedeveld, set up by Wilfried Zaha, who added the second himself after another sweet team move on the counter-attack. This was all classic Hodgson, whose well-drilled and patient Eagles have soared back into the top 6 for now at least. Full time at Craven Cottage, Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 2.
Yeah, 5th as things stand, Crystal Palace. 3 wins from their opening 6 games. First win in for them though, after starting the season with 2 straight victories. Wilfried Zaha, another goal for him as well. A really good win for the Eagles. Fulham, bottom of the table, just 1 point from their opening 6 games on their return to the Premier League. This not the last game of the day here on Premier League Live. We've got Liverpool, Sheffield United up next with Barry Swain and the Housewives' favourite Paul Mortimer. No Virgil van Dijk for Liverpool, of course. It has been an ongoing big story in the sports world. Due for surgery any day now. Let's hear from the Liverpool boss, Jurgen Klopp, speaking about Virgil van Dijk, suggesting there's no time frame for his return.
All people are different, and so we should not limit that by saying for him it was that long, for him it was that long. I think it makes sense from a specific moment in the recovery, in the rehab time, that he really then it becomes individual, because then everybody copes different with it, and everybody, and that's why no need for.
Yeah, great performance though from Fabinho at the heart of their defence in midweek in the Champions League, and it's likely the back line will be built around their midfielder until Van Dijk's return, which, look, may not be this season, which would be a massive blow for Liverpool. Rhian Brewster, look out for him in that game as well. Signed from Liverpool, of course, looking to make his full debut back at Anfield. And you know the story, you go back to your former team, you usually score. Elsewhere today, one other result in the Premier League. West Ham got a 1-1 draw against Manchester City, Mikel Antonio scored the opening goal for the Hammers in that game. Phil Foden from the bench gave City a share of the spoils. On Friday night, it finished 3-0 to Leeds United away at Aston Villa. Patrick Bamfordinho scoring a hat-trick in that game at Villa Park. 3 games for you on Sunday. Southampton take on Everton, Wolverhampton Wanderers against Newcastle United, and I'll be back for Arsenal against Leicester City. And Monday, 2 games for you as Brighton take on West Bromwich Albion and Burnley are up against Tottenham, as the Premier League has games in each unique time slot whilst no fans are allowed in the stadiums, and indeed there are many unique time slots to enjoy. Here it's goalless at half-time between Manchester United and Chelsea. The second half follows this. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track and who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football, plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
I was never good at spelling. I could read just fine, but I would be afraid if anybody asked me to do anything involving spelling. But since doing the course, all that has changed. I am braver. In fact, I feel braver than ever now. You know, you're never too old to learn. Never.
If reading, writing, maths or technology is holding you back, take the first step. Free phone 1-800-2020-65 or text LEARN to 550 to see how we can help. This free and confidential service is supported by your local ETB, Solis and Nala.
Create the Premier League atmosphere at home with Harvey Norman, the home of the big screen. Feel like you're on the pitch with our stunning range of 4K smart LED and OLED TVs from LG, starting from just $449. Plus, hear every kick, save, tackle, decision with LG's best-in-class soundbars. Get TV ready for all the big games with Harvey Norman. Shop online today or safely in our spacious stores. Harvey Norman, home of the big screen.
Go! Demanding a high performance from your team? You should be demanding the same from your tires. The Irish Tyre Industry Association is urging motorists to stay safe this winter and check the condition of your tyres. You could even be liable for a fine and 2 penalty points if found driving with tyres below the legal tread depth limit of 1.6 millimeters. ITIA expert technicians will carry out a free tyre safety check to ensure your tyres are safe and legal. Visit itia.ie to find your local expert.
As darkness sweeps around the globe at 8 p.m. on the 18th of November, 25,000 people worldwide will pull their running shoes on to hit the road for a virtual 5 or 10k at Run in the Dark. I'm Mark Pollock, and by joining us to Run in the Dark this November, you'll be supporting the Mark Pollock Trust and our charity partner Collaborative Cures, whose mission it is to cure paralysis in our lifetime. Register now at runinthedark.org and get your medal, your flashing armband and your Run in the Dark virtual timing app. Thank you.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk the dog, go cycling, cycle the dog, recycle the dog, just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your 4+ Fold ACCA lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
You are listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester United against Chelsea from Old Trafford. I'm your host Tom Rennie. Alongside me for this one is the former Stoke City, Reading, Sheffield United, Cambridge, Oxford striker Dave Kitson. There we go, the whole CV. The whole CV is more than that, but that's all I can remember. This is Premier League Live. Thank you for joining us. It's goalless at half-time. No real chances for either side in the first half. Couple of half chances for Rashford and Mata for Manchester United. Well dealt with by Mendy for Chelsea. They've had the majority of possession, but they are not creating many chances in the driving rain here at Old Trafford. The rain continues to fall, by the way, and you can hear that on our effects microphones around the field right now. You may be picking up a couple of claps from some of the players as well as they emerge for the second half. But it is, as Forrest Gump would have described it, big old fat rain around Old Trafford right now. And has that informed this match in terms of it being not particularly entertaining thus far? Free-flowing?
Yeah, I think it has, actually, because I think some of the passes that we often associate with the Premier League, which is just that sort of diagonal ball, leaving it up on the fullback's head to deal with, and then playing around the pieces, or just putting it just slightly in behind, it's not working. It's just skipping straight out of play, and because of that, the game becomes very stop-start. You know, you go from a long ball to a goal kick to a foul. There's no rhythm to it.
No changes at half-time for either side, so here are the 11, starting with Manchester United. David De Gea is in goal. Back four, left to right, of Luke Shaw, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Fred and Scott McTominay in the centre of midfield, with Dan James on one side and Wan-Bissaka on the other. Bruno Fernandes supporting Marcus Rashford up front, 4-4-1-1 for Manchester United. The bench is Dean Henderson, Paul Pogba, Edinson Cavani, Mason Greenwood, Nemanja Matic, Donny van der Beek and Axel Tuanzebe. For Chelsea, Edouard Mendy in goal. Back three, Kurt Zouma, Thiago Silva, Cesar Azpilicueta. Left wing back Ben Chilwell. Right, Reece James, Jorginho and N'Golo Kante in the midfield. Pulisic, Werner and Kai Havertz the front three, as Mendy's ball into midfield here, momentarily won back by Manchester United, but Chelsea retake it on the end line left-hand side. Their bench, Chelsea, Willy Caballero, Antonio Rudiger, Tammy Abraham, Mateo Kovacic, Olivier Giroud, Mason Mount, Hakim Ziyech. Martin Atkinson is our referee, Stuart Atwell the VAR, and Fred has just been yellow carded for a cynical Guardiola-esque foul in midfield on Havertz as the German looked to break away for Chelsea.
Yeah, and it was cynical as well, and he had to do it really because Reece James was making great strides down the right, completely unmarked, and Havertz wanted to play him in. Fred just clipping his heels, putting a stop to that move.
Hasn't quite done the business so far in the Premier League, Kai Havertz. He has scored for Chelsea, the record signing, top scorer in all competitions with 4. Scored in the victory over Southampton, his first in the Premier League last weekend, but I think it's fair to say he's not set the world alight thus far since his move to England, but a top talent nonetheless.
Yeah, and he's only young, and it does take a bit of adjusting for certain players. But there again, you know, the flip side of that is, when was the last time you saw a team who got every single signing right?
Yeah.
And Chelsea have made a lot of signings, and you do think, it can't all work, surely, the law of averages.
I mean, they've made a lot of really good player signings, but I don't think it makes a great deal of sense. The ball's out of play, by the way, so throw into Luke Shaw, which is why we're having a quick moment for a chat here, because they just seem to have bought 7 of the same player.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit like that, and it is going to take a long time, I think, for them to... As individual players, I think they're obviously going to pick up points. They're decent players, but as a team, it's not quite there yet, is it?
Here's Kai Havertz on the halfway line, pokes through to Pulisic, who can carry Chelsea upfield. Out to the left-hand side, and Ben Chilwell approaching the penalty area, held up by Wan-Bissaka and Wan-Bissaka, and Wan-Bissaka has won it back from Chilwell as well. That was really poor play from the man brought in from Leicester. Coming forward on the break of Manchester United, Dan James running at Azpilicueta, takes him inside, Dan James, and runs straight into the brick wall that is Thiago Silva, cleared upfield by Chelsea to Kai Havertz.
Yeah, Azpilicueta does well, because he doesn't want Dan James going on the outside of him, so he shows him back inside towards Thiago Silva, and they double up on him, win the ball back really well. It's good defending.
Fred in central midfield to his right will find Scott McTominay, and then Wan-Bissaka carries forward. What a great goal it was from him last week against Newcastle United. Got to improve his attacking play, say most United observers, and that's the kind of thing he needs to do on a more regular basis. But his forward pass here is intercepted, and Chelsea can break away with Timo Werner. Over the halfway, he finds a nice reverse into Chilwell, and then forward to Pulisic, who's drawn Maguire out, and he's running around Maguire. And Maguire has put a challenge in. Pulisic went down there, wasn't claiming a penalty. United clear it, not very far. Chelsea retake it with Jorginho, left of centre, down the line to Chilwell, back to Jorginho, who looks back towards the centre circle, and Thiago Silva to Cesar Azpilicueta, the Chelsea captain. 49 minutes gone here, it's 0-0. Reece James into Kai Havertz, back to Azpilicueta again, and Chelsea retreat into their familiar pattern of the first half, which is dominated possession, 60-40 in their favour across the piece so far. And then when they get to the point of making an incisive pass, it's straight through to David De Gea as they try to find Timo Werner.
Yeah, it's the right ball. I just think Werner gets caught on his heels, because if he sprints for that, he may well just get it, because De Gea doesn't get it until it's on the edge of his box. And we're just getting a replay of that foul from Maguire in the first half.
Yeah.
And the more you see it, the more you think, how on earth?
Well, what are they looking at, Dave? Honestly, if you're the VAR, which is Stuart Atwell today, you've obviously seen that. You and I have seen it. It's an obvious penalty, so why is that not being seen as a clear and obvious error?
Well, we'll have to ask. I mean,
they'll never answer, will they?
They're not accountable, and this is the problem. And you just want to say, well, what is it? What is it? One rule for one and one for another? What is that? How am I supposed to try and go in and fairly compete for a header when I'm in a headlock? And it is a headlock. There's no other word for it. It's a headlock from Maguire on Azpilicueta. He's got no chance of winning the ball.
Wags will say if that was the other end, it probably would have been a penalty to Manchester United, but that's not me saying that. That's the Wags. Here's Marcus Rashford running at James, and Azpilicueta by the corner flag, poked away from him by Reece James. That's a corner for Manchester United. 50 minutes gone. It's goalless at Old Trafford. Better, though, from Manchester United here. They've struggled to create in this second period. Barely seen the ball in this second period. Paul Pogba, the man who retrieves the ball for Bruno Fernandes, who's taking the corner. Wonder whether he might be introduced at some point soon, along with Edinson Cavani. United, a reminder, are the home side here, and they've lost their opening 2 league games at Old Trafford. Here's Mata, short from the corner. Back to Fred, who strikes a goal. Blocked. Mata picks it up on the end line. He will be offside. They worked the corner well that time. Fernandes and Wan-Bissaka. Fred's effort well blocked on the edge by retreating Chelsea defenders. That home start, by the way, they are on the verge of losing their opening 3 home league games for only the second time in their entire history. They haven't done that since 1930. They've not lost 3 consecutive games here since 1979. It would be a 5th successive winless Premier League match, which would be a record in Premier League history. Go back to the 70s for top flight history for Manchester United. To be fair, they usually have 70,000+ fans here, so it is a different feel.
Yeah.
Is that no excuse? You're not having that, are you?
Well,
I can tell. I can't see you, but I can tell what your face looks like.
I'm just trying to work out whether it's a help or a hindrance.
No.
I think there's every chance it can get worse with the pressure. I don't see anything too spectacular about this United team. I really don't. I think, look, they'll obviously win quite a few games. There's a lot of individual talent, but I don't see a team. And I haven't seen one for many years.
And yet they won at Paris Saint-Germain a few days ago. Football. Who could predict it?
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't have predicted that Chelsea would have looked so defensively solid today, but they have. And they have the ball here with their central defender, Thiago Silva. Into Jorginho, back to Kurt Zouma here in the driving rain still at Old Trafford. I'm just re-mentioning it to those just joining us because it really has informed much of the narrative of this match so far. Players struggling to look up. Brill cream and gel dripping in their eyes. Tough Ben Chilwell. I'm only jealous. Here he is now. Chilwell pokes forward to Pulisic, who looks into Havertz. They've got Reece James over here on the left. They find Timo Werner. Werner in the area shoots a goal. It's blocked by Maguire. And United can retake possession with Wan-Bissaka midway inside his own half on the sideline, right-hand side.
Yeah, and that's the sort of decision you make when you're a bit starved with the ball in front of goal from Werner, because that wasn't the right place to shoot. There was another pass in that move.
James has given the ball away. Wan-Bissaka has given the ball away so sloppily over on that far side. There was a pass on. He was trying to look up and find Reece James on the other side, but didn't. And here's Kai Havertz away from Daniel James. Good play by Kai Havertz. Looks to slip in Pulisic, but the pass was poor and Wan-Bissaka intercepts. It's cleared by David De Gea, recovered by Chelsea. The Chelsea up their game here. There is a victory on the cards for them.
Yeah, United are there for the taking. They really are. But it's the front three are just not finding a rhythm at the moment for Chelsea. It's a very individualistic performance from all three of them. They don't look like a set unit. You know, it's not that Firmino, Mane, Salah type. Where they look like a team in their own right. They look like three individuals at the moment, each waiting for the other one to do something.
Big diagonal here, left to right for Chelsea, trying to release Reece James, overhit by Kante, goal kick Manchester United. If you're Olivier Giroud, Dave, you've been the Giroud type, sitting on the bench at times during your career, I'm sure. Are you saying to Frank Lampard, get me on, boss?
Yeah, well, I don't think he needs to do that. I think Frank will know all too well. My issue is, at the moment with Chelsea, is that I think you could put on three different players up front, but I don't think it's going to make a difference because I don't think the service is there. Chilwell hasn't done anything meaningful with his service. Reece James has probably had one run, hasn't really managed to get the ball into an area where he can cross it.
We are about to see Manchester United changes. That's not before time. They have really not been in this match in this second period. But it's Chelsea coming forward here with Pulisic in the area, left-hand side. Tries a cross towards Havertz, over his head, over Shaw, into touch. We are hearing both Paul Pogba and Edinson Cavani are about to enter the fray for Manchester United. And with the way this half has gone so far, it's not before time. They are both stripping off on the edge of the technical area, bottom of the stairs. Of course, there is the kind of brickwork dugout here at Old Trafford. They've made their way down and are now getting ready to come on. But at the moment, their teammates are struggling to contain Chelsea, who are coming forward again. But it's a poor pass from Kante, cross-field, intercepted by Wan-Bissaka. Gets away from Chilwell, carries towards the sideline. Wan-Bissaka's done well to find Wan-Bissaka. Into McTominay, onto Bruno Fernandes, looks up and he hasn't got much ahead of him, but he has got Shaw to his left, and here he is now. Luke Shaw running forward, held up well by Havertz. Shaw infield to Bruno Fernandes, back to Fred. 55 minutes gone, it's still goalless here at Old Trafford between Man United and Chelsea. Here's Wan-Bissaka, to his right is Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka edging towards the penalty area, but his pass forward was woeful. But Chelsea give it straight back, Jorginho into nowhere. Into McTominay, to be truthful. McTominay right to Wan-Bissaka, back behind him is Bruno Fernandes. Two teams looking very heavy-legged, like they're running through thick mud. And that's another poor ball. This time it's Maguire in the air, straight to Azpilicueta, trying to get Chelsea breaking down the other end. He looks to release Werner, but the ball that didn't quite slick off the surface, rather stuck on the grass here at Old Trafford, and it went straight to Maguire, not round the back towards the German, who would have been goal side. Hearing Paul Pogba for Dan James is one of the two changes coming up. Certainly Cavani was getting stripped off. I'm getting a note on that, but I imagine he is about to come on as well, unless he's being told to dress again. He's not in my eyesight right now, but I think he is going to come on. But Pogba is the more likely of the two. At the moment the ball's still in play. United have it across their back line, back to David De Gea, whose clearance wasn't great, but it actually turned out to a good pass. It found Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes forward, diagonal towards Rashford in the area, trying to find some space to shoot, carries it across the edge into Bruno Fernandes, back to Fred forward to Dan James. Shaw overlapping, here he is now, left-footed cross is blocked. It just wouldn't open up for Marcus Rashford, and Chelsea closed the door.
Yeah, he tries to bring it back across the face of the box to get that shot off, but they close the space really, really well and snuff out the chance. And here it is indeed a double sub for United.
It's Cavani on for Mata. Paul Pogba will come on to replace Dan James. Cavani will make his Manchester United and Premier League debut after 2 weeks of self-isolation following a positive diagnosis for coronavirus. 250 goals in 413 appearances across European football's top 5 leagues. A pretty decent record during his career for the likes of Paris Saint-Germain, Napoli and Palermo. It's a corner here for Manchester United. Chance for Cavani to have an early impact. Back towards Shaw, return to Bruno Fernandes, right-footed cross, flicked in towards goal. Oh, it's the side netting. Cavani, first touch, nearly a goal. Lovely instinctive poke towards goal by Paris Saint-Germain's record marksman. And that was nearly the perfect Premier League introduction.
Well, I tell you what, the sharpness. He hasn't played for whatever it is, 7 months. Been sat on his family farm, I think. But he looks as sharp as ever. He's so close. He's a whisker away, 6-7 inches away from giving United the lead with his first touch.
Yeah, a long time since Cavani played. Because, of course, Paris Saint-Germain were given the title at the start of the coronavirus pandemic. They weren't given a project restart style end of season, so it's February the last time he played a game of football. Cavani, incredible that he should look that sharp. I bet he's been desperate to play.
I bet he has. Yeah, I bet he has. I don't think he's not here for a payday. I think he'll get one, obviously, but I think he's here to show what he can do.
Yeah, last league game in February. Last actual game was the Champions League game against Borussia Dortmund in March. Still a long old time ago for Cavani.
Yeah.
Other things to consider now for Chelsea, right? Defensively, Pogba on, Cavani on. United couldn't continue to have been as bad as they were. Coming forward, though, here are Chelsea with Havertz, who's got the strength to shake off Fred. Back to Reece James. Chelsea working back towards the halfway. They've been reasonably comfortable, Chelsea. Now is the time, though, to threaten, you feel?
Yeah.
As Chilwell picks it up. Short to Pulisic. Back to Chilwell on the sideline. Running in field. We'll find Azpilicueta. Right-footed, chips it out right towards Reece James. Bit of space. Right-footed cross. Good delivery. Surely Werner, no! Oh, they're all in there. Pulisic, Werner, Havertz, all three of them. And it's Pulisic who missed it at the back post. Werner missed it on the edge of the 6-yard box. Oh dear.
That is why he is the best crosser in the Premier League. I'm telling you, I don't need to see him for 2-3 seasons. I just know. That is a ball and a half from Reece James. It's begging to be put into the back of the net, and it really should have been.
Well, it was Pulisic, wasn't it, at the back post, who was maybe the man most likely. Just lost the flight of the ball. Maybe it flicked off Maguire on its way through. We'll need to have the replay of that. Otherwise, that will need to go down as a big miss there from Christian Pulisic. And that's the best Chelsea have put together in 60 minutes of football. It is still goalless here at Old Trafford.
Yeah. And what's interesting from a United point of view is that I think the closest player to Cavani they're going to use as Pogba. And I agree with that, because I don't like Pogba as an out-and-out midfielder. I think he gets caught out. He doesn't go with runners. I think he's far more effective the further up the pitch he gets.
Can Manchester United get the ball up there? That's the question, as they have it in their own 6-yard box here. Lovely touch by Pogba from De Gea's clip. He leaves it short for Scott McTominay. Approaching the halfway line, McTominay forward. Bruno Fernandes has pulled out right. Here he is now. We'll get Dave just to work out the full formation in a few moments, because it has certainly shuffled around since the 2 substitutions, as you'd expect. Here's Fred, left to Shaw, inside left, approaching the penalty area. On towards Rashford, who's now come out to this left-hand side. Poke towards Pogba in the penalty area. Azpilicueta for company. Corner of the penalty area, right-footed, cross-field, behind Wan-Bissaka, who does pick it up. Pokes it towards Fernandes, not a great ball. Bruno Fernandes recovered it. He's away from Chilwell, not away from Kante, or away from Jorginho. Flicks off Jorginho, who's on the ground, wants a free kick. Not given. McTominay takes over. Cross was pretty poor. Away by Azpilicueta, recovered by Manchester United. Impetus now from the substitutions. Pogba into Rashford. Rashford away from Reece James, infield. Good strength by the best crosser football's ever seen, and he's found a really good release ball. And here come Chelsea with Kai Havertz. Havertz forward to Timo Werner, running at Lindelof. Pulisic screaming for it. Werner takes him on the outside, doesn't find Pulisic, who was free. Werner still in possession, but he's wasted that. On towards Chilwell, sliding challenge Wan-Bissaka. Corner for Chelsea, but Pulisic was screaming for that ball.
Yeah, it's Werner again. He already did it once, didn't he, when he shot and he should have passed, and he's just done exactly the same thing. He doesn't even get his head up, and this is what happens when you're starved of the ball as a player, particularly as a forward player. You always want to try and make something telling happen, and sometimes it's just a pass, but you can't see the wood for the trees. He just has to roll it to the right, and Pulisic is in. He doesn't, puts his head down and goes into a cul-de-sac.
63rd minute, corner on the attacking left-hand side to be taken by Chilwell for Chelsea. Left-footed, Zouma is there, surely being held, Kurt Zouma, by Victor Lindelof. He's screaming penalty. We know they aren't going to give penalties like that today. After Maguire's foul not given earlier, strong challenge by Reece James has left Paul Pogba on his backside midfield. Referee has stopped it because James has stayed down too. Chelsea had it on the halfway line, and now Kurt Zouma is saying to Martin Atkinson, where's my penalty? And I'm saying to Dave Kitson, where's the penalty?
Yeah, we need to see this again, because it all happened so quickly. He's definitely being held, and we are about to see it again. No, I can't. No. It's definitely not a penalty.
No.
I mean, Lindelof, he comes on the blind side of Lindelof. Lindelof doesn't even know he's there.
But would the referees have seen that incident in the first half where Maguire should have given a penalty away on Azpilicueta, and now the players, knowing that, will pressurise the referees. You didn't give it earlier, you should give this.
Well, ordinarily you would. I mean, certainly before VAR you would. You would definitely make it known to the referee that he's made an almighty mistake. And referees are human, and honestly, it would affect the game. You can get into the referee's head, but now, obviously, with VAR, the referee can just say, if someone comes running up to you, as Zouma did there, and says, well, that's a foul, it's a this, it's a that, you just point at your earpiece, don't you? You just point at your earpiece.
Yes.
Sorry, if it's a foul, I'll hear it in my ear. I'm waiting to hear anything. Sorry, there's nowhere for a player to go anymore with that.
It's the equivalent of the boss coming to have a go at you, and you say, I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone. You can't talk to me right now. Someone's calling. Well, that wasn't a penalty, the one we've just seen anyway. We've seen a couple of replays of it. Shouldn't have been given. 65 minutes gone. It is still goalless between Manchester United and Chelsea. Stick with us though at full time. Another game tonight from Anfield as Liverpool take on Sheffield United. Barry Swain and Paul Mortimer, your commentary team for that one. Back on Sunday for listeners outside the UK and European Union. Southampton take on Everton, Wolves against Newcastle, Arsenal against Leicester. Monday, 2 games for you. Brighton against West Bromwich Albion and Burnley up against Tottenham. So the Premier League matches keep on coming. Pogba's alright, Reece James is alright, we are back underway. Chelsea coming forward. Timo Werner looks round the corner, trying to find Pulisic, intercepted by Wan-Bissaka, and again, the front three don't link up well. And it has been the story of it, as Dave Kitson has said a couple of times. I just wonder if Frank Lampard is considering a couple of changes here. He does have attacking talents on his bench. I know he's got plenty on the field as well, but they have not done it thus far. As Manchester United had the ball here in the centre circle with Fred. Left-footed diagonal trying to release Reece James. Straight into touch. My word, this has been, Dave, I'm sorry to say, another poor game for you. It's you, isn't it?
I think it's me. Yeah, it's got to be. I am the common denominator here. It's not the first game of football I've ever ruined.
Second in a week.
I know, honestly. I want my Burnley back.
We've not even got a tweet from Colin Montgomery this time to get us through it.
Even Colin can't be bothered.
Even Colin is not listening to this one so far. There's Thiago Silva in the penalty area. For those that weren't with us on Monday, we had some tweets from Colin Montgomery during the game, which we very much enjoyed. You could tweet us too, at TalkSport Live. The place, Jerry enjoying the game whilst he's got the grill out in New Orleans.
Oh, nice.
A bit late in the year for the grill out, isn't it?
Never too late.
Clocks go back in the UK tomorrow. We've still got a couple of weeks in America till the clocks change. 67 minutes gone in this underwhelming game between two of the self-anointed Big Six. Not exactly European Super League quality so far. As Victor Lindelof has it midway inside his own half. To his left is Maguire. Back to Lindelof again. Under some pressure from Pulisic and Werner, he finds a release outright to Scott McTominay. McTominay forward to Wan-Bissaka, return to Scott McTominay again, challenged by Chilwell. It's the United midfielder last, and that's a throw-in over on that far side. They did have a couple of minutes there, didn't they, Manchester United, of impetus after the change, but that seems to have dissipated somewhat quickly. Yeah, they did. It caused, I think probably more than anything else, caused Chelsea a couple of problems as they tried to work out where Pogba was going to play and what they could expect from Cavani. But it has settled down now. I expect it to revert to type. I just wish they could get the ball out wide to Reece James more. Every time they get the ball out that side, things happen. Maybe it is time for Giroud. David De Gea in his own area, ball at feet, looks diagonal to Pogba. One back by Chelsea, but only briefly, as United retake possession again in their own half of the field. The middle of their own half, Fred has it. To his right is Victor Lindelof. Back to Fred again. What is the plan? What is the way they're going to break Chelsea down here? For all their ineffectiveness going forward, Chelsea, you've got to say defensively look very organised, very solid, and that will certainly help in the long run. As we've mentioned a few times in commentary, conceding goal, but they've got an issue here as Rashford's found over the top, and he's goal side of Azpilicueta. Shot is blocked by the retreating Chelsea captain, and they clear it upfield towards Kai Havertz, who has given the ball away to Luke Shaw and given a foul away, and he has had a stinker today, Kai Havertz.
Yeah, not for the first time either. I actually feel for him a little bit. United just attacking there down the left through Rashford. It's a fabulous ball from Maguire. Rashford has to take it down because there's no way it's staying in. Skips inside, again trying to get back onto that right foot, and Chelsea are wary of it.
Pogba back to Shaw. On the sideline, left-hand side, approaching the halfway. Forward from United now, then back to Fernandes. Into the centre circle, Lindelof chased down by Werner, just skips away from him. If Werner had got that, he would have been through on goal, but he did well there, Victor Lindelof. Fred looks forward to Fernandes, down the line to Cavani on the right-hand side. Right-footed cross by Cavani, straight into Mendy. That may well be the first time we've mentioned Mendy in this second period. He gathers with ease under no pressure from a United centre-forward, as it was the centre-forward who crossed it in.
Yeah, he hasn't been tested, but there again, it's been some pretty decent defending from Chelsea, particularly when Rashford comes inside on that right foot. They've closed it out, not giving him a sniff to come back in and try and bend one in that far corner, which he does so often. They've protected Mendy really well.
Thiago Silva on the edge of his own area, looks right to Reece James. James in towards Kante in the centre circle. Chips it out left to Chilwell, who's got some space to exploit. Midway inside United territory, left-hand side. Cross to Reece James, space on the edge, brings it down, shoots a goal, took his time and gave Fred the chance to get there and put the block in, which he did, and then Rashford has drawn the silly foul from Azpilicueta.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do that because Rashford is going absolutely nowhere. The only way he can go is back, and even that's not on. He just has to shield the ball. He's got three around him. It's a stupid foul, and Chelsea are going to make their own double substitution now.
Not before time, really, for Chelsea, as Tammy Abraham, a centre-forward, comes on. Mason Mount, Lampard favourite. He will come on too. Timo Werner, pretty ineffective today, is withdrawn, and I'd be stunned if it wasn't Kai Havertz as well, who's been just woeful today, and the record signing is going to be withdrawn. People tell me he was amazing for Bayer Leverkusen. The stats certainly back that up, but every time I've seen him for Chelsea this season, he has been well below par.
Yeah, look, I mean, not every player hits the ground running, for sure. I can attest to that, believe me. But also, you know, to draw another comparison, perhaps a little bit closer to Chelsea Hearts, Drogba, when he first came, I wondered what on earth Chelsea had signed, and then suddenly it all clicks and you've got a club legend on your hands. You never know. It does take a little bit of getting used to, and particularly, look, if you look at football and the world circumstances at the moment, it's not an easy thing to go into, you know, and start swimming straight away.
Might need to start swimming straight away with the rain around Old Trafford today.
It's getting worse.
As you can hear on our effects microphones, it's just picked up again and is battering down on the roof of the stadium. And it's certainly coming out loud and clear in our ears, and that's what's landing on the players' heads right now. Tammy Abraham, by the way, this is 150th career league appearance for various clubs, so a milestone for him. Started the season as Chelsea's number 9, didn't he, last campaign, and played plenty of football, scored a decent amount of goals in the opening weeks of the season, but has had to deal with a substitute berth for a little while now at Chelsea. Olivier Giroud played most of Project Restart, and now it's the trio of Werner, Pulisic and Havertz he needs to get in front. 72 minutes gone. It's goalless here as Wan-Bissaka, not for the first time, runs forward and gives the ball away cheaply. Chelsea knock it back to Thiago Silva. Under pressure, he'll find a chip outright to Reece James. Shaw presses forward, James controls and finds a ball infield to Jorginho. Zouma onto Chilwell. Chilwell over the halfway line. Leaves it for Pulisic, and Chelsea happy to keep the ball on the halfway.
Chelsea play themselves out of trouble so well, don't they? There's no panic whatsoever. It's triangles. You just wish you could see it at the other end.
Now on the right side, Reece James. Mason Mount found him. Looked for a return ball, but James goes back towards the halfway line. Reece James under pressure from Fred. Dribbles back towards his halfway. Starts again. You can hear is the chant. or the shout from Frank Lampard. He does start again, goes back to Mendy, a long way out of his penalty area. Mendy clips it forward first time, and then McTominay's gone in late on Pulisic. He won plenty of the ball there, McTominay, but also got plenty of Christian Pulisic, who's gone down.
Yeah, he did.
Pulisic didn't like that. Dave Kitson didn't like it. Referee said it was all right.
Yeah, and I was just worried for Pulisic at the moment, because it's one of those ones where McTominay's always going to win it, but you know the follow-through's coming, and it's just a question of how bad it's going to be. And it looked nasty enough, but Pulisic, he might be hobbling.
He's limping heavily.
He certainly
here,
didn't want that pass.
Chilwell just fired it into his feet, and Pulisic has not been able to do anything with it. He can barely walk. He's now gone down, Pulisic. He's had so many problems, hasn't he, with injury.
Yeah.
Mount's given a free kick away. Fred wants to take it quickly, but Pulisic is down, and I tell you what, Man United there, I mean, I don't like it when players kick the ball into touch, but when it's actually stopped, and they can't try and get on with it still.
I know, there's
the man's down.
No love from United for Pulisic there.
It's a strong challenge, isn't it, from McTominay? It's a fair challenge, but
yeah, he does. He wins a lot of the ball. He does. I don't think there's any malice in that whatsoever. I think but you can know that your follow through is going to inflict some kind of damage. It's just a question of how bad.
Great tweet from Nate to @TalkSport Live, who says, at what minute will the Manchester United penalty come? And that may well be the only way they actually score today, to be fair. Isaiah is at a swap meet in Las Vegas, and he's been next to an older gentleman in one stall who fixes watches. He's a Man United fan, and he's recording the game to watch it later. Any advice, he says? Don't watch the first 75 minutes. That's my advice. But hopefully watch the last 15. At least from an entertainment perspective. Here's Bruno Fernandes, end-line right-hand side. Looping cross. Picked up by Rashford on the edge. Challenged by Mount. Beaten to it by Mount, who gets away from Shaw as well with a nice ricochet in his favour. Mount then looks forward. Challenged by Rashford. Free kick given against Rashford, who's actually going to get yellow carded here for that late challenge.
I thought he blocked the ball, actually. I mean, he certainly heard the ball being blocked. Maybe it's because he come from the side, but it's Mason Mount does really well to bring the ball away. Maybe he does dive in a little bit, Rashford, and just catches Mount.
Yep. Another game to follow this one today. This is the third of four feature Premier League games. 8 o'clock UK time, we get underway for Liverpool against Sheffield United. Bazza Swazza, Barry Swain, is your lead commentator alongside the Housewives' favourite Paul Mortimer. Just getting some team news in from Anfield. Alisson is back for the Reds. Diogo Jota also gets a start for Sheffield United. Ethan Ampadu, of course, on loan from Chelsea, and Rhian Brewster both come in for the Blades. That game kicks off in just under an hour from now. Our coverage starts in around 25 minutes from now. And that's, I'm sure, a huge sigh of relief for Liverpool fans around the world that Alisson is back for Jurgen Klopp's team. Tammy Abraham and Scott McTominay have collided here in the centre of the pitch. Free kick's been given against the Manchester United man for the initial contact on Scott McTominay. And Chelsea play it back towards the halfway line. It does have a feel like Chelsea will be happy to settle for a clean sheet here, stop the rot of goals conceded, but if they can nick a goal, they'll consider this a job well done as they play it forward towards Abraham, intercepted by Reece James. Forward to Bruno Fernandes from Fred, closed down by N'Golo Kante. Ball loops up in the air, and it loops all the way back to David De Gea away to our right. 78 minutes on the clock, and it's a game that's wilting before our very eyes here in the driving rain. 0-0.
Yeah, it does. It almost seems like both of the teams have settled at the moment.
Tammy Abraham now the centre of a forward three for Chelsea. Pulisic left, Mount on the right. High ball towards Cavani, won by Thiago Silva. PSG veterans combined. Maguire up to the halfway, down the left. Finds Pogba outside, under pressure of Azpilicueta, leaves it short for Luke Shaw. Rashford on the sideline, looks back towards Fred. Into the centre circle is Lindelof. Back towards Fred again, it's left towards Shaw. towards Bruno Fernandes, who made a good run. Volleys it back to Pogba, edge of the area, looks to find Cavani. Cleared away by Zouma's head from Pogba's cross. Recovered by Lindelof on the halfway line following the clearance. Pogba to Shaw. Shaw finds Bruno Fernandes on the left-hand side. Shaw overlaps, gets a cross in. Away by Thiago. Got his angles all wrong there. He's falling backwards and left-footed, clears up over his own crossbar, and he gives away a rather soft corner for Manchester United.
Yeah, it's because the effort has gone, the pressing has gone from Chelsea, from their front three, and it's allowing United to step on. The work rate has just gone out of Chelsea.
Chelsea will be so annoyed if they allow Manchester United to win this game, considering how poor the Red Devils have been so far, as Bruno Fernandes crosses. Away by Reece James, recovered by Lindelof, who leaves it for Fred. Back left to Bruno Fernandes. Wants the overlapping run. Shaw's miles, it's not coming. Goes back to Fred in the centre. Right to Lindelof. Rashford. Pulled out to the wing, outright to Lindelof. McTominay miscontrols the pass to him, into touch for a Chelsea throw on their left-hand side.
Yeah, Chelsea suddenly looking a little bit tired, and they're allowing United to step on them. All right, Lindelof gets a little break. He manages to pull it back to Pogba. It's not the best shot. It's easily blocked from Thiago Silva, who's been decent today. He's been quite solid.
A change here for Chelsea. Christian Pulisic withdrawn. Not surprising considering the whack on the ankle he took a few minutes ago. And Ziyech is on to replace him for his second Premier League appearance.
Yeah, and I love this guy. I've followed his career for quite a long time. I was praying that Spurs would sign him. I think he's a fantastic player. He's
far too good for that, mate.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately he is. But he's a fantastic player. He really is. And with some of the performances from the people who were ahead of him today, I know he's coming back from a bad injury. But he may be finding that he starts a lot more games than he doesn't.
You're another who's not played for a long time. March 7th was his last on the halfway line. Runs into Lindelof's strong challenge. Fred then beats Jorginho. Flicks towards Cavani. Loses out to Kante. Chelsea say Kante was fouled. Referee says no. And that sometimes can be somewhat merciful in a game that's struggling to get moving. Just allowing things to carry on. From a neutral perspective at least. Our friend Trevor Welsh says he's stunned how little football Donny van de Beek has got at Manchester United. Doesn't look like he's going to come on here today. We're hearing Mason Greenwood is about to be brought on as United's final change. Lovely play, Wan-Bissaka on the right hand side. He's tripped over, is he, by Chilwell? Referee says no. May have just been outside the penalty area as Chelsea clear it long to Tammy Abraham. Referee says foul by Lindelof on the halfway, and we'll get a replay of that potential penalty shout. Chilwell on Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Wan-Bissaka, he's straight back up, isn't he, after the clear. He doesn't stay down. He may have actually ended up clipping his own heels after he breaks free, and there's no great appeal from anybody.
Yeah, no penalty given. Rightly so, as United do make their third and final change. Mason Greenwood is on for Scott McTominay, so not turned up on time for this one. Mason Greenwood, but that's Solskjaer's fault, not his.
Well, what we do know about Greenwood is he usually, however bad the game is, he usually gets one chance. So we've got that to look forward to.
Unless you're a Chelsea fan, of course, in which case he'll be dreading that possibility.
I think even the Chelsea fans at this point would be anything, something.
Well, I think they'll be happy with the clean sheet as they were against Sevilla in midweek.
Yeah, it's a lot more solid.
And they've obviously worked on it, haven't they, Chelsea? I thought first half especially, the organisation was really, really good. They've got to stop balls like this over the top to Rashford. And that's what Azpilicueta does. They've dropped off when they've needed to stop that danger for much of the game. And it has been a really good, solid performance from the Chelsea back seven, really. Back five and the two deep holding midfielders, Kante and Jorginho. Has been to their offensive detriment, but in the long run, this might be good for them. As Bruno Fernandes looks to pick a pocket here. Good interception by Chilwell. Zouma wins the second ball, and again, it's good Chelsea defending. We've got to put it that way. Kante forward to Tammy Abraham up against Victor Lindelof. Looks to take him down the left-hand side. Leaves it for Kante. He's got some space to run into. Diagonal left to right. Looks cross-field. Finds Reece James. Corner of the area. Dummies the cross. Then does towards Tammy Abraham. It's away at the back post by Wan-Bissaka. Recovered by James. Azpilicueta overlapping. Right-footed cross. Blocked by Shaw. Loops in the air. And a play for a corner to Chelsea. 6 minutes to go. You've got to feel a goal now would be the winner.
Yeah, it's only the second time, really, that James has been able to get that high with that much space. And it's the switch from Kante that does it. Luke Shaw gets caught inside. He can't get out to him. He's got to rely on his centre-halves to deal with the cross, which they do.
And it's a corner to Chelsea on the attacking right-hand side. Plenty of big bodies in there. Reece James, Tammy Abraham, Thiago Silva's gone forward. Ziyech's ball poor towards the near post. Straight to Bruno Fernandes. Mason Greenwood has then surely fouled Mason Mount. He has. That's poor from Greenwood. They look to spring the counter there, Manchester United, but Mount had the ball, so you can't bring him down. It's a chance now for Chelsea to deliver from deep on the right.
Yeah, and if it's Ziyech on that left foot, it'll want to be a lot better than that corner just was.
Yeah, it wasn't great from the former Ajax man, Hakim Ziyech. Reece James over it now. Short to Ziyech, James overlapping, goal side of Greenwood, right-footed crosses low, away by Lindelof, and Rashford brings United clear. Challenge by Azpilicueta, breaks to Chilwell, edge of the area. 1-2 with Zouma attempted and failed. Recovered by Azpilicueta. Chipped out left to Mason Mount. End line left-hand side. Left-footed crosses deep. Reece James picks it up. Back in the area, away by Fred. Over his own crossbar from Fred, who had no idea where that was going. And for a moment, Manchester United were panicking in their own area.
Yeah, because as this ball comes out of the air to Reece James, it's a difficult one to volley back. He just wants to put it in an area. He's not trying to pick anybody out. And Fred reads it. He makes a hash of the clearance. It really could have gone anywhere. And it's like I said, that United defending where it all gets a little bit desperate and you don't know exactly what's going to happen. And he gets fortunate, balloons it over his own bar, but it's another corner to Chelsea.
Chance to steal a famous win here for Chelsea as Ziyech is over this one again, left-footed. Again, it's away at the near post by Cavani. As far as Jorginho, who volleys a goal. Never really got hold of it though. Jorginho loops it over the top. That's a goal kick.
No, well, why not? I mean, it is asking to be hit. He's in a decent enough position on the edge of the box. If he connects with it, you never know.
Why is Reece James not taking the corners, especially considering how bad the first one was from Ziyech?
Yeah, I think it's just a pace thing. Just in case there's a break on, they keep him back.
It's United breaking here. 86.5 minutes gone. Rashford found by Shaw into Pogba, back to Fred. Left-footed crossfield to the right-hand side and Wan-Bissaka into the final third. Onto Mason Greenwood. Left-footed cross comes in. It's away by Azpilicueta. Overhead kick by Fernandes. Away by James. Recovered by Fred. Antonio-esque from Fernandes, but off target, unlike the West Ham striker earlier today.
Yeah, you almost put Luke Shaw's head in the net, actually, apart from instead of the ball. But
Pogba back towards the halfway. Here's Lindelof. Turn of pace away from Tammy Abraham. Good play here by Victor Lindelof. Trying to force the issue. Outright is Mason Greenwood. Couple of step overs to the end line. Low cross. Cavani! Oh, blocked by Thiago Silva. Very, very near to a debut goal from Cavani. Good play. Over on the far side by Manchester United.
Yeah, twice he's run across his man. The only player I've seen from United to actually do that, run across the near post, across your man. He's done it twice. That occasion, it's a brilliant block actually from Thiago Silva. Great experience defending.
Yeah, it really was. And he's found a good pass here to Jorginho under pressure in his own area. Mason Mount clips towards the halfway line. Ziyech loses out to Lindelof's header. Breaks back to Mason Mount, who leaves it to Jorginho. Cavani holds him up, and you get the feeling Chelsea are happy for the draw at this point.
Yeah, because there's a break on there, and they just stop, just put the foot on the ball, let United get back in their shape.
Reece James maybe hasn't got the memo from Frank Lampard as he takes on Luke Shaw on the outside. Still going here, gets to the end line, cross comes in, blocked by Shaw, loops in the air. Unlucky there, Reece James wanted to get the corner, and it was a good attempt, but it's spun up into the arms of David De Gea.
Yeah, it's good positive play from Reece James taking on Luke Shaw. To be honest, it's taken 88 minutes for him to do it. Luke Shaw keeps his concentration at this late stage. He does well actually to block that because he twisted and turned all over the place. It's good defending.
Yeah, a few good examples of good defensive work today in this game. Thiago Silva moments before blocking Cavani's goal-bound effort, but Yeah, it's not really what we've been used to so far in the Premier League this season. Good defending, but fans of Italian football of 1991 may well have enjoyed today's match. Here's Paul Pogba in the centre circle, short to Fred, held up by Mount, in towards Marcus Rashford, who looks right to Wan-Bissaka with a minute of normal time remaining. Outside of him is Mason Greenwood, who's looked lively since coming on. Fred will look across the halfway to Maguire. Shaw outside of him, found diagonal, chip towards Cavani, away by Zouma, who's left Thiago Silva in a heap as he climbed on his shoulders. Recovered by Pogba, poke to Bruno Fernandes, trip towards Cavani, away by Thiago again, then cleared upfield by Ziyech towards the halfway. Hasn't got very far actually, over on the far side. Mason Greenwood's recovered it before Chilwell. United's right, Chelsea's left, into Fred. Here's Bruno Fernandes, back to Fred, poke towards Wan-Bissaka, another awful forward pass from Wan-Bissaka. He's looked weak offensively today, but he has still got time to make up for that as he finds a pass to Fred. Into Pogba, centre of the pitch, 25 odd yards from goal, chip right to Wan-Bissaka, chance to get a cross in here, leaves it for someone else. Here's Fred, cross does come in, ricochets about, Fernandes takes it, shot by Rashford, saved by Mendy, brilliant save by Edouard Mendy to his left. Been a bystander for virtually 90 minutes, but that's a really smart stop that may have got his team a point.
Oh, it falls so nicely for Rashford, and as he hits it, he must be thinking that's in, because I certainly was, because Mendy, ball comes through a clutch of Chelsea players. He sees it late, Mendy. Solskjaer's got his arms up in the air, he thinks it's in as well. I did, I'm sure Rashford did. It's a brilliant save from Mendy.
Corner comes in, right hand side, away by Zouma, recovered by Shaw. Late pressure from Manchester United, 4 minutes added on at the end of the 90. First of those is down, Fred, crossfield right to left. We are in Fergie time at Old Trafford. Usually 70,000 plus home fans trying to will the ball home. It's the millions listening at home doing it right now, as Rashford has it on the halfway. Held up well by Jorginho. Would have been harsh on Chelsea, who have been more than worth their point here.
Yeah, it's a good end to the game from United though. If anyone's going to take it, it looks like them. They're really trying.
Where have they been for 90 minutes?
Yeah.
Would be the question fans will be asking, and I think that's a fair one, as Greenwood and Fernandes combine over on the far side. Back towards Fred. Pogba, 40 yards from goal, just right of centre, on towards Shaw. Shaw against Ziyech, back to Pogba, into Fernandes, back to Pogba, away from a couple of challenges, chips it out right to Greenwood in space. Up against Chilwell, challenged by Chilwell, recovered by Fred. 2 minutes gone of additional time, into Pogba. Slipped in towards Wan-Bissaka, all challenged by Chilwell. He won it, knocked it against Wan-Bissaka, came off the United man last, but then Chilwell, I think, stripped him up here. The assistant hasn't given it, neither is the ref, neither is the VAR. I think Chilwell's got a bit lucky there.
Yeah, because he goes to ground. He does win the ball, but it ricochets off the legs of Wan-Bissaka, who's in if he can keep his feet. And he can't. I think Chilwell makes sure that he can't.
That may well be the last chance that United are able to fashion here. Not been a great deal of chances, and you've got to say that's why they've brought in Edouard Mendy to replace the hapless Kepa Arrizabalaga, and indeed Willy Caballero, who have barely made a save between them for the best part of 18 months.
Yeah, although Mendy was very unlucky with that own goal attempt in the first half.
Yes, he was very nearly United's best striker as well today, absolutely right. But apart from that, a chance here for Chelsea. There's a handball against Shaw, not given, as Ziyech will carry Chelsea forward. Maybe a late chance for them. Chilwell to Kante, edge of the area, tries to find Ziyech. Fred intercepts, and that's a waste from Chelsea, who smelt blood momentarily. Greenwood carries United upfield, into Pogba, onto Fred, left to Shaw, who approaches the halfway line. In truth, a goal for either side here will be undeserved and cruel on the opponent, but that's why we love football sometimes. As Wan-Bissaka's cross, another poor one from him, blocked by Chilwell. Throw in on the right hand side.
Well, it's going to have to come now if United are going to do anything. They've got 20 seconds and they're hanging about with this throw in.
In towards Greenwood, turns away from Jorginho, back to Bruno Fernandes, right footed cross, a looper. Pogba's in there, away by Reece James, recovered by Maguire. Here's Rashford up against Reece James, on towards Shaw. Challenge by Mount as the ball was played through, and the sweet, sweet mercy of the final whistle is forthcoming. It has finished goalless here between Manchester United and Chelsea. Clean sheet for Chelsea, hard-earned clean sheet for Chelsea. A better result for them, you feel, than it is for Manchester United, who were very, very poor on the day. Analysis to follow in just a few moments' time. It has finished here goalless at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Chelsea. You've been listening to Premier League Live.
That was rubbish.
Poor Mendy, square ball in his own 6-yard box, nearly went in his own net there. Mendy, the goalkeeper, was found by Zouma. To his right was Thiago Silva, and he's played it so close to his own goal line, it's actually gone for a corner. My word, that was nearly a calamitous goal from Mendy.
Goodness me.
He's caught Keperitis.
Well, my heart skipped a beat there. I'm not even a Chelsea fan. What on earth is going on with that?
Chilwell down the line to Pulisic, left-hand side. In the area now, Pulisic strikes on target from Christian Pulisic, but straight at the goalkeeper David De Gea, who holds.
All he wants to do is get into the box. Once he gets into the box, it becomes really, really difficult to take the ball off him without giving away a little foul.
Back towards Shaw, return to Bruno Fernandes, right-footed cross, flicked in towards goal. Oh, it's the side netting. Cavani, first touch, nearly a goal. Lovely instinctive poke towards goal by Paris Saint-Germain's record marksman. And that was nearly the perfect Premier League introduction.
Well, I tell you what, the sharpness. So he hasn't played for whatever it is, 7 months. Been sat on his family farm, I think. But he looks as sharp as ever. He's so close. He's a whisker away, 6-7 inches away from giving United the lead with his first touch.
Yeah, Cavani close, couple chances for Rashford, but in the end it is all square, a point apiece. Dave Kitson watched it with me. It was interesting, Dave, that Chelsea clearly came for a draw today. I don't think they thought Manchester United were going to be that poor, but I think that's a good draw for Chelsea when all's said and done.
Yeah, I think that now you look back at the game with the benefit of hindsight, you'd say, okay, yeah, we'll take the point. And the reason that they'll be happy with that is because I think they could have expected far more from their front three, from their offensive players, and none of them delivered. So with that being the case, they'll probably take the draw. There again, it is a missed opportunity because this United team, they're miles away.
Yeah. United have failed to win their opening 3 home league games to a season for the first time since 1972. The stats would say they had 14 attempts at goal. I can really recall 2 shots from Rashford and Cavani's blocked effort that were actually threatening. Apart from that, it was a very disjointed display from Manchester United.
Yeah, and it gets more sort of unpredictable and clueless, if you like, the longer the game goes. It's Solskjaer's grand plan seems to be, we'll just throw on as many attacking players as we possibly can, and they all get in the way. Okay, Rashford had a chance at the end, Cavani nicked one just wide, but there's too many players who are trying to do 2 different jobs at the same time. Pogba, he's there, he's here, but it's very ineffectual at the moment. He's like a big star guest, a big guest appearance, but on the wrong show. And that just sort of sums Man United up at the moment.
Yes, beautifully put, Dave. Where do they go from here? Manchester United back in European action in midweek, of course, as are Chelsea, and you know, the pace of fixtures is tough. There's no doubt about that, but we expect that the super clubs with the big squads desperate to form their Super League can cope with it, and watching it today, I don't think either really can.
Yeah, look, I'll give, you know, when I look at United, I did say during the commentary, I think we both did, that they are a bit leggy, and there will be a Champions League hangover because it's a monumental result against last season's Champions League finalists at PSG, and it is, and you know, and this is not after the Lord Mayor's show, it's Chelsea coming to town. You still got to put on a performance, but they did look a little bit leggy.
For Manchester United, the fixtures come thick and fast after this. It's RB Leipzig here on Wednesday, followed by United against Arsenal next Sunday. Dave, briefly on that home record. They've managed to avoid defeat at home in the league for the first time this season, but first time since 72 they've started the season at home without a victory in their opening 3 games at Old Trafford.
Yeah, it's not good enough, is it? I mean, I'm just looking at the table now. I'm not sure if it's been updated. 15th at the moment. 6 from 5 or 7 from 5 now, yes, or whatever it is. It ain't good enough, is it? It really isn't good enough. But I look at it and I just see it as a very, very disjointed team. It's not a team. Yeah. It's 11 individuals at the moment, and even when you change it, it's still 11 individuals. Chelsea, for me, are looking far more like a team, but it's still not gelling. I don't think anyone is. I think this league is wide open, but I certainly don't think it's going to go to United.
Yeah, back-to-back clean sheets for Chelsea. Frank Lampard will be very pleased with that. We'll hear from him later, I'm sure, as well as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer during our coverage of our next game. Dave, always a pleasure. Thank you very much indeed for your company. The scholar who went to both Oxford and Cambridge, Dave Kitson, with us. Up next, Barry Swain and the Housewives' favourite Paul Mortimer in for Liverpool against Sheffield United. We are all done here. It's not been great, in truth, but Chelsea will be happy with their point. It's finished goalless. Manchester United against Chelsea. You've been listening to Premier League Live.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track, and who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football, plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
I was never good at spelling. I could read just fine, but I would be afraid if anybody asked me to do anything involving spelling. But since doing the course, all that has changed. I am braver. In fact, I feel braver than ever now. You know, you're never too old to learn. Never.
If reading, writing, maths or technology is holding you back, take the first step. Free phone 1-800-2020-65 or text LEARN to 550 to see how we can help. This free and confidential service is supported by your local ETB, Solis and Nala.
Create the Premier League atmosphere at home with Harvey Norman, the home of the big screen. Feel like you're on the pitch with our stunning range of 4K smart LED and OLED TVs from LG, starting from just $449. Plus, hear every kick, save, tackle, decision with LG's best-in-class soundbars. Get TV ready for all the big games with Harvey Norman. Shop online today or safely at our spacious stores. Harvey Norman, home of the big screen.
Go! Demanding a high performance from your team? You should be demanding the same from your tires. The Irish Tyre Industry Association is urging motorists to stay safe this winter and check the condition of your tyres. You could even be liable for a fine and 2 penalty points if found driving with tyres below the legal tread depth limit of 1.6 millimeters. ITIA expert technicians will carry out a free tyre safety check to ensure your tyres are safe and legal. Visit itia.ie to find your local expert.
As darkness sweeps around the globe at 8 p.m. on the 18th of November, 25,000 people worldwide will pull their running shoes on to hit the road for a virtual 5 or 10k at Run in the Dark. I'm Mark Pollock, and by joining us to Run in the Dark this November, you'll be supporting the Mark Pollock Trust and our charity partner Collaborative Cures, whose mission it is to cure paralysis in our lifetime. Register now at runinthedark.org and get your medal, your flashing armband and your Run in the Dark virtual timing app. Thank you.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk the dog, go cycling, cycle the dog, recycle the dog, just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your 4+ fold ACCA lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18+ need help. Visit gamblingcare.ie.
Premier League Live with Talk Sport. All the big goals and big moments from the world's biggest football league.
Aubameyang! 3-0, what a goal! Son onside, this time for 4! Southampton crumbling here at St Mary's.
Bringing you the best of the Premier League all year round.
Jamie Vardy has a hat-trick against Manchester City at the Etihad. Good delivery and done the goal! The keeper came! Oh, he flapped! Meslier makes the mistake.
There's a header and there's a goal from Raul Jimenez. Wolverhampton Wanderers back in the game.
Premier League Live with Talk Sport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Liverpool against Sheffield United from Anfield. I'm your host, Barry Swain. Alongside me, the former Crystal Palace, Cheltenham Athletic and Aston Villa winger, Paul Mortimer. This is Premier League Live. Liverpool look to get themselves back on track tonight. The wounds of that 7-2 humiliation at Aston Villa are slowly healing, but they are yet to win in the Premier League in October, and it's November in a few hours' time. It's looking like a second season syndrome for the Blades, yet to win in this season's Premier League, and not many will give them much hope tonight. But this has been a crazy season, and remember, VAR is no longer Liverpool's best friend, it seems. No Virgil van Dijk, of course. Thiago also sidelined. You would expect Liverpool to have enough to do the job tonight without those big two. Joe Gomez comes in to partner Fabinho in the centre of the Liverpool defence. Jorginho Wijnaldum comes into the midfield. Diogo Jota starts, and he is in an attacking lineup that also includes Mane, Salah and Firmino, so plenty going forward for Liverpool. The Blades, well, they have two strikers on the pitch as well. One of them, a certain Ryan Brewster. He was signed, of course, on deadline day, £23.5 million from Liverpool. His first Blades start is at Anfield against Liverpool. He will play alongside Ollie McBurney in attack. Ben Osborne and Ethan Ampadu on loan from Chelsea are also included in the starting 11. 3 changes for both sides in this match here this evening at Anfield. Alongside me, socially distanced of course, is our very own Paul Mortimer. Paul, very good evening to you.
Evening Barry, hope you're well.
Yeah, very well, thank you. Let's talk about Liverpool first, shall we? All things considered, we are looking at a home win tonight, aren't we?
In theory, yes, but then you expected them to beat Aston Villa, because that's always going to be your frame of reference at the moment with Liverpool, because no one saw that coming. So Sheffield United will be saying, if Villa can do it, then there's no reason why we can't, expose the weakness in Liverpool. But these are top-class professional footballers who know how to win, so they will have to go and prove the point, because that's what we're going to have to do now. The question is, that the manager would set them is, can you get over that? Can you get back to the level that you were at when you were beating everyone and conceding no goals at all?
And looking at this Liverpool lineup, Diogo Jota has come in, Mo Salah's playing, Sadio Mane's playing, Roberto Firmino's playing. This is quite an attacking lineup, isn't it?
Yeah, they've set their stall out. You kind of know what they're going to do. They're going to look to go and win the game. And you know what? Stamp their authority on things again, because that's what they've got to do. When you've played the way they've played, not quite at their best, you need that one performance that makes everyone go, right, now we remember what we're supposed to be doing. And it could be tonight. I mean, Sheffield United last year, they were built on very, very strong foundations. Didn't concede. I think they probably had one of the best defensive records in the league. That just hasn't happened this year at all. They've been making mistakes. They've been unfortunate in spells. Everything that went right last season defensively isn't now. And so they find themselves where they are, struggling to register points.
Looking at this Liverpool defence, obviously no Virgil van Dijk. He's been outstanding the last 2 seasons. He's not been outstanding so much this season. We would have said it was a big loss for Liverpool in the last 2 seasons. It probably still is now. Are they still on for the title without him?
I think it's going to be difficult. I think it was difficult with him, to be truthfully honest, because they weren't impressive defensively. They weren't. What was keeping them in it was going forward and scoring goals. I mean, for example, 4-3 against Leeds. Everyone, they won. It was a great game, but everyone forgets that they conceded 3 goals at home, which never happened. So I'm sure Klopp understands that. But Fabinho's coming in. Gomez worries me, because I think at the very highest level, I think he struggles with concentration. I really do. Matic, who I think is just as good, has a lot of injury problems. So Fabinho, it's going to be around him, as far as I'm concerned. And he is a good player, but very rarely played centre-half. Now he's going to have to play there 10, 15 games on the bounce, which is difficult.
Is this the opportunity for Joe Gomez to prove you wrong?
I know Joe Gomez is a good player. I remember him at Charlton. He's a very good player who's made such fantastic strides. Now he has to learn. And has to learn how to play centre-half, has to learn without the number one teacher next to him. He is now the most experienced centre-half on the pitch for Liverpool, and he's got to go and show that. And, it might give him the opportunity to shine and lead. We may see a more mature Joe Gomez. I hope we do.
Ryan Brewster, first start for Sheffield United. What a place to make your first start for your new club. But back at your old club, Liverpool, you know, the old adage in football, you go back to your old club and score. It's going to be a difficult evening, really, for him, but an interesting one, nonetheless.
Well, it is. I mean, the thing about Ryan Brewster is no one knows that much about him. Other than, you know, he'd had issues with racism and he played a little bit at Swansea and did well with England at youth level. But that's it. As a Premier League entity, he's an unknown. So for me, I'm really looking forward to watching him play because this is a tough game for him. It's against a team that knows him well, and what they know is they'll know how to wind him up, they'll know how to get into his head. Of course they'll know that. So it's going to be a difficult game for him, but I'm sure it's one he'll relish.
Well, kick-off is fast approaching. We're, just a little over 20 minutes away from kick-off here at Anfield. It's Liverpool against Sheffield United. You are listening to Premier League Live.
As darkness sweeps around the globe at 8 p.m. on the 18th of November, 25,000 people worldwide will pull their running shoes on to hit the road for a virtual 5 or 10k at Run in the Dark. I'm Mark Pollock, and by joining us to Run in the Dark this November, you'll be supporting the Mark Pollock Trust and our charity partner Collaborative Cures, whose mission it is to cure paralysis in our lifetime. Register now at runinthedark.org and get your medal, your flashing armband, and your Run in the Dark virtual timing app. Thank you.
Let's talk about you looking after your business. Ford, looking after your vehicle. Let's talk hassle-free Ford leasing. Just a fixed monthly payment, no motor tax to deal with, and no maintenance or servicing to pay on selected plans. Get the all-new Ford Kuga from €425 per month. Hassle-free Ford lease. Now we're talking. Search Ford Lease or text Ford to 50015 to speak to us about leasing your next vehicle.
Text cost to standard rate. Price quoted for a Kuga Titanium with no maintenance over 4 years with 3 monthly rentals in advance. 20,000 kilometres per annum. Business users only. Price excludes VAT. Ford Lease is provided by Marion Fleet Management, trading as Ford Lease.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track, and who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews, and opinions from the biggest names in football. Plus, expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
This is not the time for business as usual. It's time for effort and imagination. It's time to use technology to start your online plans. It's time to work from home to stay in touch. It's time to look to each other. Erscoa Kayla. Ireland is working online with help from Black Knight and .ie, because now we need better than business as usual. Call Black Knight on 059 918 3027 or visit blackknight.ie.
123ink.ie for all your home office needs, including printers, ink, toners, paper, label markers, binders, pens, bins, batteries, boxes, chalk, compass, files, memory sticks, highlighters, glue, notepads, pencils. Whoa! And we're cheaper than your current supplier.